for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Need more energy throughout the day? Looking for a kick to your workout? RockinThatIDLife.com has you covered with delicious flavors you've grown to love in tropical fruit and mixed berry, but now fall in love with the new fruit punch and orange flavors. Try them all at RockinThatIDLife.com.
Realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage LLC makes the moving process easier. Work with a realtor who plays and studies the game and will work as hard as the boys on the ice to get you the best deal. Check out Mike on the web at strikewithmike.com and jumpstart your move today. That's strikewithmike.com. Welcome to episode 13 of season 11. This is episode number 389 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. We're zany to the max. There's baloney in our slacks. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Let's go Blues Radio.
I gotta applaud that. I gotta applaud that one. That's good.
You know the reference, right?
Yeah, oh, of course. Only one of the best greatest shows of all time.
Yeah, not just one of the greatest cartoons, one of the best shows of all time.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. I've never been happier to be your co-host, Kurt.
The original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsors, RockinThatIDLife.com, StrikeWithMike.com, and CenterIceBrewer.com for thank you for proudly sponsoring. They proudly sponsor the show, so please check them out. We'd appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out our T-shirt shop at Let'sGoBlues.com for the best blues-themed T-shirts at a fair price. It is Wednesday, December 21st, and we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on the socials is at LGB Radio. Just do a search for us, you'll find us. And if you haven't done so already, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, or do whatever you need to do to help support the show. We greatly appreciate it. I'm Kurt Price. My co-hosts for the big show tonight are Bill Day and Jeff Ponder. And on the agenda for tonight includes a discussion about the Blues' recent 4-game win streak, plus the Blues' first ever loss to the Seattle Kraken. Plus, can Jordan Kyrou be a 100-point player? We'll discuss that, all that and more on this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. If you've noticed, Bill, there's an empty seat where Bill should be. He should be joining us shortly. Jeff, how are you doing tonight?
With normally we would just pull that off, right? But we're like, we got this special Christmas decoration here, and we're like, if we pull it off, well, shit, why not, Kurt? The magic of television, right? Let's show people. That's what it would look like if we just let Bill's camera come off. Lights are going across our faces.
Christmassy lights there set between the screens, so yeah, it's fine.
So,
whatever, it is what
it is.
There
he is,
Bill.
Look at that cute man. There he is. Okay.
Does he know we're on the air?
I guess not.
His headphones are on.
No, we happy that Bill's here. He is slowly getting those headphones. I'll play by play here. Bill's messing with his his cord. Still has no idea we're on the air. Here he comes. He's getting the headphones on. And can he hear us?
No, I cannot.
Well, too bad. We are on the air, sir. So this is that was fun radio.
Sorry, boys.
You missed probably Kurt's best opener ever.
Okay,
you mean I'm gonna have to listen to the show?
Yeah, you actually might have to listen to it this time.
Welcome to episode 13 of season 11. This is episode number 389 all time of the often imitated, never duplicated. We're zany to the max. There's baloney in our slacks.
While Bill Clinton plays the sax.
Here's the show's namey.
Totally insane-y.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we have pay-for-play contracts. Great show.
Why not just play the whole song here in the open?
Yeah, then we'll get flagged. We'll get dinged on YouTube. No thanks.
Yep. Yeah, let's not deal with that again. So before we get into it, boys, we got a comment here from Matt Harris. First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you, Matt, and to all of our listeners. But he says, my girlfriend is watching with me. Say hi, boys. And
hi, boys.
Hi, boys.
Hi, boys. So wait, is your girlfriend Brad Boys? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I do believe. You either misspelled Boyes' name wrong or Boyes.
Or that's her name. Her name is just Boys.
Could be. Either way.
Everybody's gonna get the full beer experience tonight too.
How you
Good.
feeling, Bill? You
Bill. So Bill has joined the COVID club.
Yes.
Welcome. Did you get your
it's a
membership
card
card yet?
He is now a card-carrying member.
Yes.
Yeah. So I previously tested positive after a gala at Kurt's house last year, but I never got sick. It was like I had a headache for about 3 hours.
That's right. Yeah.
And but it wasn't anything bad. And this time, I got. I got the full experience, not short of ventilator because I'm smart and I got vaccinated and all that.
Sure.
But
it may have saved your life, Bill.
It may have. I mean, during the summer of COVID, I was out of commission with a non-COVID chest infection that everybody swore had to be COVID, but I tested negative 5 times during that time frame. So.
Well, and that's the crazy thing about your chest infection was that it actually gave you massive pecs. Like you were a very built man in that period.
Only time in my life.
I've heard that you're much more susceptible to having some serious side effects from COVID if the COVID virus enters through the pee hole. That's what I've heard.
Oh, is that true?
That's what I have heard.
Well,
you don't want that.
No. I mean,
guaranteed to have happened at some point by now.
Exactly. That's why you gotta close that bad boy up.
Right. Yeah. Wear a condom always. It's the Bill Cosby rule. Wear a condom.
Yep.
Always.
So officially, you've had COVID twice now. So you actually equal me.
Officially, but I didn't. Yeah, I got mine at a party, not voting the first time, and so I was doing something selfish. You were doing something selfless.
I still say that if I ever see that guy out again, because I know exactly what he looks like. For those don't remember the story, I got COVID literally because I was voting. I went to vote, and the guy in front of me was coughing and hacking. And all he talked about was how COVID wasn't real. And I'm sitting here like, dude, you literally probably have COVID. Like, you're sitting here coughing, complaining about having to wear a mask inside. 4 days later, I test positive for COVID. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. So if I ever see that guy out again, he's going to hear it from me.
I think you should punch him in the eye.
So might have to.
Ponder's had it twice. Bill's had it twice. So I wonder if the listeners have a guess on the over-under for the total number of COVID cases on this show.
Well, have you had it?
To date?
Well, if I give had it, they would know
in the future.
Well, I know if you've had it. So, okay, that's the game. Well, over-under is 4, I guess, right?
Well, no, it wouldn't be under 4 because it was definitely 4.
Okay, well, over-under of 5. How about that?
I'll take the at 4.
Yeah, that's what I'll take as well.
I have not had it.
Not talk about COVID too much. Did you guys like my ugly sweater that I'm wearing tonight?
That's pretty ugly. Ugly sweater.
Might be the ugliest sweater.
Speaking of which, my daughter.
The red one. Yeah. The red one is worse. I'll give you that.
My daughter was in chorus at school in a class, and she's some teacher walked in with a Blackhawks jersey on. And this was recently, and so one of the kids in the class, as they were leaving, said, "I like your shirt," or "I like your jersey," and then Zoe turned to them and said, "It's ugly sweater day."
Oh, beautiful. I knew I liked that, Zoe.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun to kind of, I guess, spring us into the next conversation. She was at the Christmas party at Cardinal Nation that we talked about last week. Yeah. Had a good time with her. It seemed like she had a really good time celebrating the season and doing a little. She joined you for some blues trivia out in the audience. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she had to carry the prizes.
Right.
I had a microphone. I had the sheet of questions, and then she carried the prizes out. So that was and a table of 42 or 46, whatever it was, from Minnesota was in the house, and they won a couple prizes. It's funny because I went to the kid, and he must have been, I don't know, could have been like 16 years old, something like that. And I said, where are you from? And he goes, Minnesota. I'm like, oh, is this the big Minnesota table of 200? And he goes, yeah. And I said, you a Blues fan? And he goes, yes. I said, you're a liar. You are not a Blues fan.
Yep. It's really funny because, my wife, she did all the traveling. They were traveling apparently for a soccer tournament, and my wife did all the traveling for soccer all the time. And she said, similar thing had happened to her before, where they basically probably were like, oh, we're going to St. Louis on December whatever. That Friday night, let's book it, one of their nicer area downtown restaurants, probably fully not realizing this was going to be their Christmas party. So they're all there. Literally it was like 44, 45 people were there from Minnesota. It was a huge table.
Party far.
And so, like she said, same thing happened to her when she was a kid. Like they ended up going to some Halloween party in like Arkansas, had no idea. And they all show up in their soccer gear. So yeah, I'm sure it was a little weird for them, but seemed like they all had a pretty good time. They really enjoyed the trivia, obviously Joe puts on a good show. So
he does.
A lot of fun.
Can
you imagine that would have been a Blues, if that would have been a Blues and Wild game, that would have been a lot more fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What did we end up doing? Like what? 3 questions? Did you do 2 out there?
I did 2. You did, 1 or 2, right?
I did 1. And I was afterwards. I was thinking, I'm a trivia guy. I love trivia, and being a Blues fan, Blues trivia is amazing. If I were in a bar and they said, "All right, we're doing Blues trivia," I would get so giddy. It'd be just so fun.
Oh my god,
right?
Yeah, I think we all would, all 3 of us, right?
Right.
Because like we would steamroll. It's like, hey, I hope Steven Ground from 2 Guys 1 Cup is listening, because we did hockey trivia that one time at Sunrise Brewery.
I'm sure he wants to hear about that.
And they were beating us. And the last round was hockey history. Yeah. And I remember Bill and I just looking at each other. We're going, oh, here we go.
This is our wheelhouse.
Yep. And we we went 10 for 10. We ended up winning by like 2 points because
I think they went like
4 of 10. They
got like 5 or something like that. They did real well all evening, right? Obviously, they know their stuff. But the history part, was like, ooh,
that was the minute that popped up. We're all like, oh yeah,
for the younger crowd, right? Because they're on the younger side.
Yeah,
they're
I don't know, they're Ponder's age, but
no, they're
maybe a little bit
20s.
younger.
They're mid 20s, right?
Aren't they?
Late 20s?
Yeah, mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
Bill, I know for you it's hard to believe, but I am considered a little older now.
No. So some might say,
both y'all,
on the subject of trivia, some might say that was the Monday Night Miracle of trivia nights. Great comeback. Great comeback.
It was fun. It was a historic, and I'd say it's an historic comeback.
Yeah. We did end up winning by, it wasn't just 1. We won by like 2 or 3. But we were trailing by a couple going into the last round. So that was. And it was funny because we knew them too, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that was it was so much fun to rub that in their faces.
And we brought it up, I don't know, probably 50 times since then on the show at various points. Yeah.
Yep.
I want to say that he was on the show as a guest or something one time. We brought it up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we brought it up in the very open of the show. I think we introduced him. We said something like loser of Blues trivia, Steven Ground.
Yeah. That was, there needs to be
Amy
more
points
of that.
out. Yeah. Amy points out that we were just lucky enough to have her on our team that day.
Right. Did Amy, did you answer a single question?
I think at one point she looked at me and said, like Bernie Federico for a question. And I was like, that's a great guess, but no, that's incorrect.
Bless her heart. She tries so hard.
I think the question was who scored the winning goal, or no, who assisted on the winning goal in, no, I don't remember what it was, but it was something about the Monday Night Miracle.
Yeah. Yeah, he did assist on the
Yeah, it was the winning goal. It was maybe who scored the game tire is what it was. And
Pazlowski.
Yeah,
Pazlowski, and they'll go
Yay.
crazy.
yeah. And she looked at me and said, "Was it Federico?" I'm like, "That is a great guess, but no."
Federico's always a good guess in the
80s blues trivia.
Yeah. I mean, he holds like so many records for the Blues in the 80s. It's just you can't. I mean, it's like if somebody that doesn't know hockey that well gets a hockey question about a scoring record and they guess Gretzky, because that's what you do, right? You guess Gretzky.
Yep.
I
think I've told this story before, but real quick. So when I used to work in Dallas, I worked with a huge basketball crowd. They all loved the NBA, and my answer to everything was always Luke Longley. We would always do NBA trivia, and I would say Luke Longley because the question would always be something like, "What player played on a team that did this?" And for those who don't know, Luke Longley was a center. The Chicago Blackhawks, Chicago Bulls,
yeah,
and was just a big, towering dude. Was great at rebounds, but really didn't contribute a whole lot in comparison to, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kukoc, those kind of guys. But I was always my answer.
Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, and you go to Kukoc.
Well, Kukoc did a good job for that team.
Okay, all right.
Well, who would you have gone to as the fourth on that team? Derek Grant,
Horace Grant.
Horace Grant, not Derek
Horace
Grant.
Grant's a good one.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. Cartwright.
Yeah.
Cartwright was a weird guy.
Well, anyway,
I'm talking about like I know basketball. I didn't know. I followed. I actually did follow basketball in that time period though.
That was the only time,
and I did too because I was a Bulls fan. I was a huge Jordan guy. Really loved Pippen too. But anyway, so there was one time where they actually asked the question. The answer was Luke Longley, who was a part of like 4 championship teams and pulled this many rebounds. And it was the one time I was like, I don't know, Horace Grant. And they're like all pointing at me like, Ponder, say it. And I'm like, say what? They're like, you answer this guy for a year for every question, and you're not saying his name now? And I'm like, oh, Luke Longley? Yes! And they gave me, when I left that job, they gave me a Luke Longley jersey. So I actually have one.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Gotta wear that in the summer series.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe over the summer I will. If I talk to especially like a Blackhawks guy. Yeah, that could be fun. Show off the guns.
The pea shooters. That's the second time in this show I've used the word pea.
Yes.
Different meanings.
Yeah, right.
You're a linguist.
I'm a cunning linguist. The official beers of episode number 389. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle's at cprice12. Jeff's is jponder94. Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Bill, I think you should have 2 beers this evening because last show you were not here and I kind of freaked out. It was like I'm like a horse on a trail I walk every day and something is different and I didn't know what to do. You go first and Jeff went first last time and it was like strange to me. So
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Right, exactly.
I will try to do that. I have plenty of beer stocked up at this moment for the coming week.
When's the last time you did not have plenty of beer stocked up? Let's be honest. Were you living at home with your parents?
No. I mean, stocked and ready to go. There were a couple times this summer that I got, it's like, oh, I forgot to put something in the fridge. But
okay. All right, gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah.
You didn't have one in the chamber.
Did not have one in the chamber. Which, maybe the name of my memoir. But so I decided tonight that I was in a maple mood. So
that's the name of my grunge band, Maple Mood.
Yeah.
Maple Mood.
So I am having a maple mood from Boulevard. It's an barrel-aged imperial stout, aged on maple syrup or syrup, if you're a weird person.
So, who said? I say syrup.
I say syrup.
Syrup.
Yeah.
I think I say syrup. Oh my God, I
say
say
syrup?
syrup.
So it's
Ooh.
not SUR, it's SY.
You're right. I should.
Syrup.
What is wrong with me? All right,
Do you
I'm gonna
say
go kill
creek?
myself.
Do you say
I'll be
creek
back.
or crick?
I say creek.
Okay.
Crick done rose.
Crick.
Wash or wash.
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 There's no R. There's no R.
Yep. My dad's
Warsh.
family said wash, and it was
Warsh.
so weird.
Oh, I know.
That is it's almost
That's
like
very
a
St. Louis thing.
Mhm.
yeah. You ever hear somebody call soda sody?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My grandma used to call soda sody all the time. You want a sody? You want a sody? And there's a very small portion of this country, and it is this portion of this country, and some people do say sody.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
my-
And I hear sody pop. One of my friends actually does say
Sody
sody
pop.
pop.
Sody
Yeah.
pop.
Yep.
Yeah, no, back in the day at the old barn, there was a vendor who would go around, after the Blues would score a goal, take the lead. Anybody want a sody? We winning. Love that guy.
He also
Always
worked
come
at
off of
the
him
he also
at
worked at Busch Stadium. Yep.
He had
Same thing.
he had a good shtick. It
Yeah.
worked well.
Anybody want a sody? We're winning.
You guys remember the opera singer, at least the operatic singer?
From
He
SNL?
would go Bud Light, like
Oh.
he would
Yeah.
belt it like an opera
Uh-uh.
singer, and I used
No.
to love that guy. He did Bush and Keel.
Don't recall him.
Yeah, he was.
What was the
great.
name of the trumpet player that came down from Quebec that played at the Blues games?
W.C.
season.
Handy.
No. He played in this. He'd walk down the steps and he'd play at the arena.
Oh, the trumpeter.
Trumpeter.
That was Claude. He
Claude, yeah,
he
Claude.
got to start in Quebec
Yes.
City.
Yes.
And did Quebec City, did Montreal, and the Blues brought him here. And
Yeah.
that was awesome. Loved
That
it.
was great. He was fun.
Me.
Jeff. Yes,
It's me.
I was like, "Do we do yours?" No, we did
It's
not.
a me, a Jeffio.
It's a me, a Jeffio.
So yeah, so I've already had a couple beers tonight. Wife's
Can't tell.
Christmas vacation. You couldn't tell. Shut up.
I literally just said I couldn't tell.
Oh, you couldn't tell. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
I'm wasting.
I was being truthful.
No, I'm kidding. No, I
was being
I've only had-
sarcastic.
I've had 2 or 3, but so I started off earlier tonight. Well, with the show with a Citywide, which is one of my favorite pale ales from Four Hands. But right now I have moved to the Boulevard Nutcracker, which is one of my
very
favorite
nice.
Christmas beers. Very good one. Winter. Well, it's actually called a winter warmer ale. Doesn't have a tail on it, but it's good. It's a very good beer. If you've never had it, I know Schnucks has them. Just a good wintry Christmas type beer. Gonna taste good drinking the rest of that 6-pack tomorrow when it starts snowing.
Oh yeah, winter warmer. My second beer tonight will be a Breckenridge Christmas ale, which is another lovely Christmas winter warmer beer.
There you go.
I love that pre-intro. Another lovely winter warmer. It's just sounded so nice. My beer this evening is okay. So, I stop.
Oh, I know what that was. You got to
what-
play it. You got to play it. You're talking.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Ha! We got him to do it while he was talking, Bill.
Just
We
barely.
did. We
Just
did.
barely.
You did.
It's hard
I
to
did.
talk and like do a bunch of stuff at one time. So this is where producer Austin would come in handy.
Talk and chew gum at the same time.
No, I really can't. Or walk.
Yeah.
Watching me chew gum, walk, and trying to pat my head and rub my stomach at the same time. Yeah, it's like watching a cat wear socks and walk. It's just ridiculous.
Kitten mittens.
Kitten mittens. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Are
I
you
love it.
tired of your cats making too much noise all the time? That's so funny. You think about it, you're like, cats don't make any noise.
We have made some really good references so far in the show. I'm excited to see how many more we can make.
So I just found out today that I am actually on Christmas break until I don't go back into the office until January 9th.
Jesus.
So yeah, because of the weather, inclement weather warning, work is closed tomorrow. So
the weather outside is weather.
And I was already off on Friday, so boom, done. So I decided to go with the weirdest beer that I have, and that would be from Four Hands, is the Fruity Flakes Milk Stout.
Yep.
Fruity Flakes Milk Stout, milk stout with fruit and citrus. It's a play on the Cocoa Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles. You're right, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
When you said you were going to go with the weirdest beer you have, I thought you were going to just be funny and be like, and Bud Light.
Well,
Orange.
that would be funny. That'd be a wah wah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I had the Fruity Flakes Monday night. I picked up the 9-pack, oddest
Yes.
variety pack of beer I've ever bought. But
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Amy
Yeah.
picked it up for me, and I have the same pack.
yeah,
And
I had the Fruity Flakes, and I know you say you pair it with gummy bears. And
I did. It was not bad.
Yeah, so I took that and I paired it with berry Skittles, and it worked.
Okay. Oh,
It worked.
that sounds good.
So
Yeah, and this is not what you expect Fruity Flakes beer to
Ooh.
look like.
no,
It
That
looks
is
like
dark.
it looks like a milk stout.
yeah,
It looks
Yeah,
like
it
a stout.
does.
And when I
It's because
poured
it
it, I
is.
was expecting it to be like pink.
Mhm, right.
Like the color of the milk in the Fruity Flakes cereal bowl, right? Cocoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Fruity
expect
Pebbles.
like a at least like a light like golden ale
No.
type color.
Well, it is a
Mhm.
stout.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
Right, but still you expect a lighter color there. That is
you
weird.
just especially since the label, which I do enjoy quite a bit. That's a good label.
Yeah,
Um,
the whole series has great
oh,
labels.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the first time I had it, I didn't like it. And like I said, I had to pair it with gummy bears to make it kind of taste better. But tonight, just by itself, I think that night I had a previous beer first, maybe. I don't know. But which kind of throws off the flavor to your second beer all the time.
Mhm.
But this tonight, I actually like it. It's weird. I like this one. So I didn't
Yeah.
like it the first time. I do like it this time.
It's good stuff. I had I did the Cocoa Bites, the Count
Yes.
Chocula.
Yeah.
And I decided that Monday morning when I get up and binge Letterkenny, I am going to drink one of those and eat a bowl of Count Chocula. Since we
Ooh.
have an unopened box of Count Chocula. So
I have
that-
Count Chocolate as well. And I also have chocolate Lucky Charms, which is pretty good. Same thing, pretty much.
pretty much.
Speaking of
Yeah.
waking and drinking, I had a citywide the day that the last U.S. FIFA game and or World Cup game, and that was amazing. Back in the day, I don't know how you guys feel, but like back in the day when I didn't have kids,
my
and
hands.
I had what we call freedom, which I know freedom is
I
like
don't know how you feel.
it's not a thing
Freedom's
anymore.
just another word for nothing left to lose.
Right. When I had freedom and I could do shit like this, I used to love day drinking. So like waking up, 8 a.m., watching the game at 9, and cracking open a citywide, that was amazing. I loved it.
You know what's
Yeah.
fun? I've done this a few times, is that you talk about day drinking. A couple times I've done like an early run, like a 5K or a 10K or a 5-mile run, whatever, like a St. Patrick's Day thing in St. Louis. And then, so we did that, like Amy and I did that. And then we went to a friend of hers house, our apartment down in Soulard or wherever he was. I don't know. But we go up there and he's got like a big breakfast layout. It's fucking awesome. And just tons of beer. And so it's like 11 o'clock and you're just drinking all day. And there's a bunch of people there. And it's just kind of fun. It's like a Saturday and there's nothing going on. And you're like, oh, there's a hockey game coming on later or something, or I don't know, a football game. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Those are
Especially
the best.
after you like run 5 miles and then just
Oh,
have
yeah.
a few beers. Yeah.
You're like, you've accomplished what you need to accomplish for the day.
Right.
You get to be a glutton for a while.
Yeah.
That is
Drink and eat.
literally why I do the turkey trot every Thanksgiving.
That is literally why
Because
I
I-
run every morning so I can drink every
No,
night.
that is literally I wake up, I do the turkey trot, and I like stretch my arms after I'm done, and I'm like, now I just get to go eat and watch football the rest of the day. Like it's such a good feeling.
It really is. Excuse me. We're okay. So we'll get into the Seattle Kraken snapping the Blues 4-game win streak after this important message from ID Life.
Every beer league hockey night, I grab my hockey bag and sticks and throw them in the trunk of my car. And the very next thing I do, I mix up a boost of energy courtesy of RockinThatIDLife.com. It's formulated to break up its delivery in 3 ways, which helps me get through all 3 periods of hockey. Phase 1 provides a rapid onset of energy, concentration, alertness, and motivation. By period 2, I'm receiving a dose of sustained energy, increased focus, metabolism, cognitive function, performance, and feelings of well-being, which I need with the way I play. In Phase 3, I'm getting fatigue protection without jitters and crash, an elevated mood, and a reduction of fluid retention to help me make the big play when it counts. This same triphasic approach helps me when I drink it during work hours or simply just for a pick-me-up when I need it. Try one of the 4 energy flavors by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com, but make sure to email Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
All right. A few comments in the chat. The maker says, Charlie, it's always sunny. Great show. Fantastic show. Who hasn't? I mean, there are a lot of people out there who have not seen this show. It's the longest running show sitcom in history.
Cable sitcom.
Cable
right?
sitcom. Is it cable
Because
sitcom?
of Simpsons. Simpsons is still.
Oh,
going,
you're right.
so,
You're right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And then Brian Roberts says, Lucky Charms is the most overrated cereal. It's Cheerios with packing peanuts.
Packing peanuts.
You know, they sell the marshmallows separately. You can buy bags of them. And
Packing peanuts, you mean?
The packing peanuts? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the marshmallows are pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah. What we haven't heard from Matt Harris in a while. Matt Harris, what does your girlfriend think?
Yeah. What does boys think?
Boys, good old boys.
What do boys think? And Joe Bray's videos. It's just a funny. What are you running from?
Actually, that's my favorite porn site. Is Joe Bray's
videos.com. Somebody go buy that domain
all
right now.
Joe
I'm sure
Bray,
it's available.
I guarantee
all
you. Joe Bray all the time.
I guarantee you that URL is available.
I might buy it and have it redirect to our site.
JoeBraysVideos.com.
When we promote the show, be like, instead of saying let's go to letsgobluesradio.com/radio, go to joesbraysvideos.com.
We're trying to drive traffic through other channels right now.
You can also go to darrenkimball.com, just so you all know.
Oh, that's right.
That is still a thing. I will keep that forever.
I forgot about that. And with the history between this show and Darren Kimball.
What's he doing now? Where's he at?
Funnier. Okay. Well, now who made the porn joke? Because Joe is a 7-year-old. So yeah.
That's
way to go, Jeff. Way to screw things up for everybody.
I hear you guys are going to replace me with Darren Kimball, so I'm out of here.
It's been fun.
Sorry.
Okay, so Chris Bray is his dad. So who is typing at us?
I'm gonna say that's Mr. Chris Bray. Chris Bray's been on the show. He was in trivia. He's commented on the show before. He's
all right. Sorry, Chris. Let's just say we'll do ChrisBraysVideos.com.
Yeah, you can't. Now you're on a list.
You've ruined my Christmas, Chris.
You're on a watch list now.
Now I'm being investigated by the FBI over Christmas. Thank you.
You probably can't fly either right now. So
I already knew that.
So
I've been on that list a while.
Yeah, right.
It's
frowned upon to masturbate on an airplane.
Frowned upon, but not illegal. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yes, it is. Well, actually,
sure it's
in the bathroom. No, in the bathroom. In the bathroom on the airplane, not illegal. I'm pretty sure.
Just don't smoke.
Pretty sure.
Don't
smoke.
Cause the smoke detector not to work.
Right. Well, the way Ponder masturbates, he would cause the smoke detector to go off.
Wait a minute. So you're admitting you've seen me masturbate.
I've heard stories. I've been in the bathroom at McGurk's. I know what's written on the wall.
I mean, I've made the mistake of keeping my camera on here, but I feel like I've been a little more private than that.
And since Chris Bray is in the chat, congrats on early start
It's
to
Chris
the
and not Joe.
right. Well, you said it was Chris.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
missed
congratulations to you, Chris, on an early start to the holiday break.
Yay!
Yeah. It makes doing this show a little better because I don't have to get up in the morning tomorrow.
True. So you can all expect this show to be edited and ready to go by 8:00 tomorrow night.
Oh yeah. I mean,
because Kurt will be getting up at 3.
I'll be up. No, I'll be up at 3. I'll be up at 3 and just watching Fast and the Furious 5 or something.
What?
and I don't know. I just
mean,
random movie in my head.
Because I just told you I started my Christmas break on Monday by watching Con Air.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I really shouldn't laugh.
Con Air is one of those bad good movies, right? It's a bad movie, but you like it. It's like Small Wonder, the TV show.
Why couldn't you just put the money back in the box? Well, Viva Los.
This and this show has took a turn. It's all Joe's fault. Yeah. There you go.
Show Bray's videos. This show gets edited? ? Yes. Surprisingly, yes, it does.
Yeah. Apparently, Chris has not listened to the podcast version of this show.
It's actually a whole different show.
Yeah,
it's like
heavily.
It's like different people.
Yeah.
It's not even us.
Yeah. Is it old movie clips? That's what it is. Our favorite TV shows, like bits and pieces. The Wonder Years, which we've avoided lawsuits for quite some time because of the music. WKRP too. Anyway, okay. This show has taken a turn. The 4-game win streak is a thing of the past, but with points in 6 of the last 7 games, the Blues were 5-1-1 coming into the game versus Seattle on Tuesday night, and they had won 4 straight over Nashville, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. Vancouver! In those 4 games, the Blues got some stats for you if you're a stats person. None of those fancy smancy.
So you got stats for us.
Stats.
All you have to say is Jordan Binnington is terrible.
Yeah, that just that's all encompassing of all the stats.
Yes.
They need to make a separate stat category for Jordan Binnington because I don't think they figure him out. In those 4 games against Nashville, Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver, the Blues were 4th in the NHL in goals against over this very small sample size, but there were 6th in the league, so 4th in the NHL in goals against, 6 goals against, 10th in goals for per game, 3.5, and 3rd in goals against per game, 1.5. Their power play percentage was 25%, which was 15th. It's not a very notable thing typically, but it is notable considering their power play or their penalty kill. I'll get to that. Their power play was 25%, which is 25% is fine. Yeah, that's all right. It should be better with this team, but they had 12 power plays and scored on 3 times. Their penalty kill, this is what I was getting at. Their penalty kill, 87.5%, which was 7th, so a dramatic improvement over these 4 games. Small sample size again, but still. And they took 16 penalties, allowed only 2 goals, and so they're on the PK a lot, 16 times in 4 games. Tied for the 5th most times shorthanded over that span. They also had a shorthanded. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, in terms of the penalty kill, before we get into the shorthanded goal, I saw, to me, one of the big things that I've noticed when they're bad and when they're not playing well is there's no rotation, there's no movement. It's like they lose the faceoff of the offensive zone and everybody stays stagnant until there's a goal scored. We are seeing this team rotate. Guys are getting in front of shots. They're diving down, blocking shots. Maybe the puck's on someone's stick and they get a shot and it's blocked and then it's cleared to the corner. There's a lot more movement. We're seeing this team be able to kind of play the way that a penalty kill should on a top tier team. And again, it like you said, Kurt, very short sample size, but seeing what they can do, it makes it a little more annoying when you watch them play bad games because they can do it and they understand the system. But man, when they're bad, they're off. But when they're on, I mean, even though we still complain about that penalty kill, I'm sorry, the defense, the PK is pretty good. They just need to keep it up in all the games.
Well, the PK had been terrible up until recently, right? And this is a small sample size, but we'll get to in a second a much larger sample size. That is interesting. So they also had a shorthanded goal mixed in there too, wind killing penalties, and so they didn't allow a shorthand. Let's see, they were a net +2 on special teams.
Yeah, so they hadn't allowed a shorthanded goal,
right? They hadn't allowed
which means they were a +2 because they had scored shorthanded goals.
Yes, correct. 5-on-5 play, they had scored 10 goals, tied for third in the NHL, and only allowed 4 goals. Let's see, and only allowed 4 goals, 5-on-5 in those 4 games. Tied for, which is tied for third best in the NHL. The Blues scored the first in a game, 3 of the 4 games. Bennington led the NHL with a .953 save percentage and was third in the NHL with a 1.29 GAA, but was first of all goalies with 3 or more starts in that date range.
Still, so terrible stats. Terrible. Stats tell you he's terrible.
Bennington faced...
and sorry, with Bennington, the what game was that where he made those 3 ridiculous saves in a row? Was that Edmonton? I want to say it was Edmonton, where it was the shot came in, he made the save, another shot came in, hit him again. I want to say it was Edmonton because he didn't play Calgary. That was oh my God. I almost said that was Reinhard Davis. Thomas Greiss. That's what I meant to say.
No, he played against Calgary. He played back-to-back.
Yeah. It was the first time he went back-to-back, and he was very, very strong.
Come on, Jeff.
He did not play against Calgary.
He didn't play against Seattle last night in back-to-back. He played against Calgary and Edmonton back-to-back.
He did.
Are you shitting me? Why am I not remembering this?
Do you want to bet a beer? I think I owe you a beer for something. You want to cancel it out?
You probably owe me multiple beers, but that's okay.
You can look this up. We talked about it on the show. Is his first time back to back?
I thought that was Colorado and Nashville. Okay,
no,
keep going.
The last 4 games we played in this 4-game streak. It was Nashville, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver.
Thomas Greiss played in that game. I just looked it up.
No, Nashville, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver. Bennington played in all of them.
I'm talking about Calgary.
Yeah.
He did not play against Calgary. I'm looking at it right now. He did not play against Calgary. The game that we were in... Am I thinking of
Nashville and Colorado?
Yes, that's what you're thinking of. Oh. So I was right. So fuck both of you, you fucking idiots.
You are right.
You run a fucking blues show. You don't know who fucking played. No,
I feel shame.
No, it was Edmonton. It was definitely Edmonton that he made those 3 saves. He made a quick save early and he was screened on it. Then he made another save. Then he made a fucking desperation diving across. Just I hope it hits me in the fucking body somewhere, and it did. And I mean, he played great. He was phenomenal in that game, and he played really well against Vancouver as well. I don't think he had, and this is probably a whole conversation here if you guys want to have it. He played well against Vancouver. I don't think he had to play that well to where I would have played him against Seattle.
And that's the question I had coming up here was the Vancouver-Seattle back-to-back. I start Greiss against Vancouver, and the Seattle's playing better, even though they recently had lost a few. But
well, the problem with that, Kurt, is that Thomas Greiss played against Calgary, like you guys forgot, and then he plays against Vancouver. That means Bennington loses his starting job because that was 2 games in a row.
Right, and I'm sure Craig Berube's rationale there was, I'm not going to get asked that fucking question. Somebody's going to ask me if Bennington's lost his starting job because Greiss gets 2 in a row. No, I think strategically that's the right way to go, right? Is that Benner gets to start against a better team, right? Vancouver has just had a terrible start, figured it out for a little bit, but now we suck again.
We suck again.
they're just they're not going well. So yeah, it probably would have been better to have Benner in there last night. But I don't know. I didn't think Grace had a great game, but I also thought the Blues were just flat.
Yeah, they were. They were very flat. Now, I thought that last goal especially was really bad on obviously not the empty net goal, but the fourth goal that went off his leg pad as he wrapped it around.
We're getting ahead of
That
ourselves
was
a little bit.
I'm sorry.
We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Kurt breaks down the entire game.
Well, no, I wanted to mention too the stats since November 10th while we're still talking about the.
All right,
just
because
JR brought it up.
my thought.
The prelude.
I don't want to I don't care about going off on a tangents at all, but I didn't want to forget this part.
That is what this show is based on. Is going off.
No,
tangents.
do whatever the fuck. Who cares? It's a barroom conversation. But this I did want to mention this because JR shared this earlier today or yesterday. I think it was before. This was before the Seattle game, I believe. Yeah. So since November 10th, which was the first game that they won after when they broke the 8-game losing streak. So since the 8-game losing streak ended, it's been 21 games. So it's not like a small sample size, not like 4 games, not 8 games. It's 21 games. That's over a fourth of the season. Our point percentage is .643, which is 10th in the NHL. Our goals per game, 3.52, 6th in the NHL. So that's over a quarter of the season. The numbers are, I think those numbers are much more in line with where we thought the Blues might be this season. 10th overall in the NHL, 6th in goals scored. That sounds more like around where we thought this team might be. Now that 8-game losing streak, has thrown a wrench into the works, and they got to make up some ground. But I thought that was interesting. It's not a small sample size. It's 21 games, and the team over that last 21 games has played pretty well, point percentage wise, as far as accumulating points and scoring goals is concerned.
Yeah, the 8-game losing streak really. I mean, we're gonna look at that after 82 games,
so bad,
and just say, "Holy shit!" Imagine if that team had won 500 at that point, because when the season's over, how close are those standings?
Right
in the Western Conference.
If we just get 7 points, 3 wins and an overtime loss, even my God,
something like that, or 8 out of the 16 possible points. You say they're possibly they could be battling for at least first in the Central. Well, I mean that was killer, and it has skewed everything this season. Because it also wasn't just they were losing, so they were losing bad. When you look at like goals against per game, or you look at even like shots against per game, I mean oh God, those numbers are so amplified because of that 8-game losing streak.
There were a couple games in the 8-game losing streak where they played well. One was against Edmonton and they lost it, but really good.
That was
game.
the one that started it, right?
I'm not sure.
Winnipeg started it.
Winnipeg started. Yeah.
Winnipeg.
That was a bad one. That was a bad game.
Yeah, 4-0.
Something like that. But the games they did lose, they were terrible. They were awful. And that was part of the reason why a lot of people were so down on the team. It wasn't that they were losing games, in a lot of games, is that they were losing them. The way they were losing was awful. I mean, the goals, the defense was non-existent. So many backdoor tap-ins. What are you guys looking at? What are you doing? Are you covering anybody? Right? There were so many. And I felt bad for the goaltending. The goaltending's numbers are taking a huge hit. And no stat in the world apparently can identify good goaltending on a terrible defensive team, which we saw. So, like you said, Jeff, that'll be interesting to see at the end of the season, to see where they are, and to think, gosh, if we had 7, 8, 9 more points, just 500-ish, in that span, what would they be?
Yeah. It's unfortunate because this team is starting to play well. I think not even just this 4-game winning streak before the loss to Seattle, and honestly, even including the loss to Seattle, when which we'll get to. I have not hated this defense. Like I still don't like it, and I'd still like to see a shakeup no matter what. But I'm saying overall their play has been fine. I think they've overall since that 8-game losing streak.
Yeah, since they
there's been some rough games here and there still, and Bennington or Grice have had to come up with some huge saves. But overall, they've been okay, about where they were last season, where it was they're still not great. They're still not great defensively, but they're doing their job in terms of being good puck carriers, getting the puck out of the zone, getting it to the offense, and then helping contribute offensively when they can, stepping in when they can, not allowing a lot of crazy 2-on-1s or breakaways. Now, they did allow a couple 2-on-1s in a row last night that were very annoying. But other than that, and of course the breakaway on the with the empty net, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think they've been okay defensively. And for me to say that, I am a big stickler on playing great defense. And honestly, I am the believe in the moniker of defense wins championships, even in today's NHL. So for me to say that's saying a lot.
So the 5-2 loss to the Seattle Kraken, which happened on Tuesday night, Grice does get the start for this game. Did this? We just talked about this already about surprising some people as far as like the Bennington and Grice assignments for these two back-to-back games.
Right. So you guys said you would have flipped it. You would have started Grice against Vancouver.
Strategically, I think it makes sense.
I think I would have actually just said. I think I would have. Okay, you're right. I think you should have started Grice in the game against Vancouver. But the fact that they didn't and they played Bennington, and I don't feel like he got overworked too much.
I agree with you.
I think you play Bennington against Seattle again.
I agree with you.
He just did, and it was a little different scenario, but he just did a back-to-back the week before.
Right.
Looked great both games.
That didn't involve Calgary, as we clarified.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. Right.
And also the fact that you got a little bit of like a break in games coming up to where you can play him a back-to-back. And then maybe, I'm not saying you do, but maybe you consider playing Grice against Vegas. You give him a little bit of a longer break. I would have played Bennington in both games, personally.
I was hoping they would. Like you said, when they started him against Vancouver, I was hoping they would have started him against Seattle. That's not a knock on Grice, but Bennington's, he's on a heat. He's playing really well, leading the league the last handful of games. So I think you roll with him.
Yeah, and who knows if they really look that closely. If the game started, less than 24 hours before the previous start, right, by half an hour. I don't think that played into it, but maybe it did. But yeah, why not run him out there? It's I don't think Grice had a great game, and I think that's probably why we're talking about this more than we otherwise would.
Right.
But I don't know.
I thought he was.
I preferred to see him in there.
I thought Grice was okay. I mean, I thought he made the saves he should have up until that one, the bank off the skate play, from behind the net.
Right.
He didn't make the amazing save on a breakaway that he could have on either one of them. But I thought he was okay. But yeah, that softy, that bad goal that makes it crap. That was a backbreaker.
It was a backbreaker, but it was also, for me, it was a relief because I'm like, okay, I get to go to bed now.
Hey, Bill, when I pull up comments here, don't reach your hand up and pull on those lights, okay?
I'm trying not to.
Okay,
but,
don't. I don't want you to break those.
I do, right? That bothers me. And
stop it.
And I do have a little bit of cat in me from my goal.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop wearing those cat eye cages.
Brian Roberts says our shooting percentage went from below league average to above league average in the past 10 games, still below average on most stats. But they're winning and they're playing better, and their winning percentage their point percentage is, and point percentage is what you really want to look at is this time of year when there's some teams that played 3 games more than other teams. You're looking at games in hand. If you look at point percentages, that's actually, honestly, the first half of the season or most of the season, they really should at least have a sortable category. Do they? Point percentage? Can you sort on NHL.com by point percentage?
I think so. Yeah.
Can you? You can. Okay, good. Yeah, I was saying they should have that. They do. So good on you guys for having that. Right now they are, well, they're 500. They're 10th. 10th in the Western Conference in point percentage. So got to be better than that. Okay, so Martin Jones was in net for Seattle. Jordan Kyrou did not play in this game after his head hit the glass when he was checked into the glass late in the game versus the Canucks in the 5-1 win over Vancouver. That was his first NHL hat trick in that game. So congrats to him for that. Fantastic pass by Thomas. Yeah, you're right. Fantastic pass by Thomas too on that third goal.
Oh my God, great, and just you guys, I at least, and I know you guys agreed to a certain extent, how bad he was to start the season. I mean, just
Kyrou was terrible. He was terrible
to me. Again, should have been benched, and I stand by that still because I think he would have maybe picked his game up. What's that?
We had a debate about that, an argument about that.
Oh, yeah. And I think he maybe would have picked his game up sooner than he did.
Oh,
but
I think you're wrong. I think they did right by leaving the lineup so he could work stuff out and get back on track sooner.
I'm not going to argue with you. Maybe you're right.
We've had this argument.
Yeah, I was going to say, whatever worked, whatever they did, it worked. So I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say I was right, but I will say maybe it would have worked out sooner. I don't know. I'm not going to say I was wrong, but he has been phenomenal. He's been great.
I'm not going to debate you, Jerry. Not going to sit here and debate you.
We will talk more about Kyrou a little later.
I'm a master debater, Jeff, so it's best you didn't do that.
Yeah, I know you are. I've seen your bed sheets. But
you have not. That's a lie. But I mean, you could. I was expecting a different direction there, but okay.
I haven't. You think I haven't?
Yeah. That's where all the hair came
about
from.
my stall. You undermined my sneakiness, sir.
Right on time.
Yes.
Right on time.
Yeah, we need to make sure those are gone. Kurt, you want to handle those while I talk?
Yeah, I just did.
All right.
Whoops.
Sorry for those on the podcast.
I just blocked. I just blocked Brian by mistake.
No.
How do you unblock somebody?
Brian,
I don't know.
Stop porn spamming us.
Poor Brian. Well, at least let's pull up his comment just in case he is gone forever.
Sorry, Brian.
So yeah, we'll take the show over while Kurt deals with that.
Yeah.
No, he has been so good, and Bill, you're reaching for the lights. No, I've loved his play so far. After the first 10, 12 games of the season, he's on pace for 100 points. Just playing great, and truly is showing that he can be the offensive catalyst for this team going forward.
You know who's not that?
Who's that?
Going back to the conversation about points percentage, do you know what the Blues point percentage is with Logan Brown in the lineup?
Oh God. It's like zero. Yeah.
It is zero. He has played 6 games and the Blues have lost every game. He got into the lineup against Winnipeg for the start of the 8-game losing streak, played 5 games, got injured, came back last night. So, obviously they're shorthanded with Kyrou being out of the lineup kind of unexpectedly. So yeah, you're going to throw the guy in. He's, supposedly played very well down the A. Did get an assist last night. So he got his first, he got off the schneid for the year, but every time I see him out there, I just think the team looks slower.
I'm not going to notice him.
Yeah,
I did.
I'm not going to attribute the entire, the bad game was entirely his fault because he plays less than 13 minutes every time he's on the ice. I think last night was 11. You can't say it's the entire thing, but man, I don't know what he's really bringing to the team at this point.
The last time he was brought up That's when the losing streak started. The 8-game losing streak.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that bringing him up doesn't start another streak. I mean, I'm sure that's not doesn't have much to do with it, but still, he did have a nice assist on.
Yeah, he did.
On Parayko's goal.
Outside of that assist, I did not notice him last night.
I noticed him a few
all.
times, but there were times where I'm like, I have not seen him this period. You know, I think I saw him in the first period a couple times out there, made a couple nice plays, and the nice pass to Parayko in the third. I don't think I saw him at all in the second.
Yeah, his pace is just like that. I noticed him because his pace is behind everybody else. There was a beginning of the second period. There was a shift where they had a cycle opportunity, and they threw the puck to him, and he was hash marks or above, trying to push it back down low, and he just looked slow, and we didn't get a good cycle go, and yeah, it wasn't. It just like that to me. That's been emblematic of his play. He's just a step too slow at this level, and he needs to be down lower and throwing that big body around. And I get coming back from an injury, you don't want to do that. But
did you guys talk about the Kyrou injury while I was messing with the stuff?
No,
sir.
Okay, so what did you think about that hit that kept him out of this game?
I was fine with it. I had no problem with that hit.
Because there was, Jim Thomas asked Berube about it, and Berube thought, post game presser, he said it wasn't dirty. I thought, in a 5-1 game, I was like, maybe it was a bit unnecessary. A hard check. It was kind of 3/4. It wasn't from behind. It was shoulder to shoulder, but it was, Kyrou's facing the boards. So I don't know. I was like, and I saw his head hit the glass, and Kyrou saw it coming. He tried to brace himself. His head just popped the glass. So I didn't think it was dirty either. I thought it was maybe a little unnecessary. It's 5-1 is in the closing minutes of the game.
As a Canucks fan, is not the kind of stuff you want to see. You want to see your team have a little battle at the end of the game because you just got your ass kicked.
Maybe.
Like, if we're Blues fans and we're getting our asses kicked, that's what we're asking for, right? We want some kind of physicality just to, show that you have some heart and emotion going.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And like you said, it wasn't dirty. It was just...
But I think a lot of people...
your point.
A lot of people were questioning the hit because at first glance, it kind of looked like it was from behind. But if you slow it down, it's kind of more shoulder to shoulder. So there's nothing really wrong with it. But so I think that's what people get stuff wrong when they analyze stuff all the time on social media. I mean, they completely misinterpret what happened. So, and that's probably what a lot of this was. I think at worst I could say maybe a little unnecessary, but it's fine. I mean, it's nothing. Hockey's a rough sport, right? Hockey's a rough sport.
And it's just an unfortunate play. And the minute that happened and Darren Pang was like, oh, you got to be a little concerned there. My first thought in my head was that is every fucking play in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? Like, guy gets hit, head kind of hits the boards. No big deal. Keep playing. And I'm like, then Kyrou's out the next night. And I'm thinking, again, and I know this is an exhausted conversation, but how many people should not have been playing in the 80s and 90s if this is the concern?
So Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em Hockey's Greatest Hits, whatever it was. It was Rock'em Sock'em Hockey, right, Bill?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, there are hits on there where guys, they can't stand up and get to the bench. They can't find the bench. They've been hit so hard. And
one that comes to mind, Mark
Flyers.
Messier, elbow, Rick Natras.
Yeah,
Rick Natras does not know where he is.
Right. He can't even stand up. He's trying to get to the bench he's trying so hard to get to the bench, and he falls over 4 or 5 times before he can get to the bench. And his teammates have to pull him up over the boards.
You probably should have put a mattress under him to catch him.
Mattress,
The mattress.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't have a mattress store called Mattresses Mattresses,
He's doing it wrong.
Mattresses. You gotta. That is gold. That's gold, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Gold.
That's gold.
I'll get him on the show and I will pitch that to him.
Round teen. That's gold.
Why do they call it Ovaltine? Is it a round can?
Glasses
Gold,
round?
Jerry.
Cans round? First period against the Kraken. Ryan Donato scores. Ron. I was reading too far ahead. The R and the O-N ran together in Donato. Ron Donato.
Rondon Donato.
Rondon.
That
Rondon sounds like a
his
mobster.
nickname.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a mobster.
Rondon Donato.
I think he was in Sopranos, wasn't he? Rondon?
Yes, he was. Rondon Sopranos.
Rondon
was the name of the
Soprano.
show.
So Donato Soprano scores in the first period on a breakaway, extending his goal streak to 4 games after a bad. I don't know if you guys watched this or noticed this on the replay when they slowed. Parayko takes a horrendous change. Not only does he change kind of when he probably shouldn't, but he's slow at doing it. He takes his slow ass time getting to the bench, and Krug can't jump on until he gets close enough. And then Walker loses Donato at center, and boom, springs him. The perfect pass on his tape, and he's alone.
Perfect pass.
And I'm like, it was a great pass, great play. The Blues made a mistake. They were slow and lazy in their change, and the Kraken jumped on it, and they executed perfectly. But
That is
I was so
What?
pissed at Parayko because I'm like, that shouldn't even happen. I mean,
that is
Donato
90% of like the too many men penalties because a defenseman or a forward is too slow to get off the ice. They don't hustle getting off the ice, and plays like this also happen because of that.
Letty's on the near boards. He doesn't recognize Parayko's going for a change. But Letty's on the near boards, I don't know, 15 feet off the boards. He's pretty close. And so there's nobody else defending on the blue line. And so Donato just plugs that gap and shoots up the middle. And they can't catch him, and he scores.
And
horrible
you mentioned the
defense.
horrible.
Horrible.
The pass from who was it? Was it Sprong that
No, Larson.
the pass? Larson. That was such a great one touch, move the puck up. Because you know what? If there's not a guy there, that's an icing play. And it's a defensive zone face-off for the Kraken. He knew where his guy was. Perfect on the tape pass. So give Seattle a little bit of credit there. But yeah, terrible change. What are you doing? Pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
And you gotta and that's something, and I know these guys are NHL players with 82 games a year. I get that, but you gotta, to me, if I'm an NHL coach, I'm telling my guys, if you're not sprinting to the bench to where we can get another guy out, especially when they're starting to break out, either you're making a terrible change, which he was, and 2, you got to move your goddamn feet. You got to skate. Like, skate. And that's why we say as coaches, skate the entire shift. And that includes getting your ass off the ice. Don't just lollygag to the bench.
It didn't take long. I mean, it was a couple second, gaff, right? But that's all Seattle needed.
That's all you needed in hockey.
Yeah,
right. At
you just need a couple
NHL
seconds.
level, yeah, that is all you need. COVID's coming back.
But watching on the replay, I didn't notice it really at full speed. But watching the replay, I was like, I got pissed. I'm like, God damn it! If you watch Parayko, he is just taking his sweet time, just gliding to the bench when Seattle's got the puck and they're going to bring it up. I'm like, get the fuck off the ice.
That's 90% of changes in the NHL, and it's maddening. Even in like a play that it's not going to lead to a breakaway, it's like the Blues will dump the puck in, and the guy who dumps it in is just slowly gliding to the bench. No, skate your ass off to the bench so your replacement can come out and forecheck. Get down there, and again, 82 games, I get it. You know, skating that hard all the time, it's hard to do. But like Bill said, you're at the NHL level. Let's see some hustle here.
And Letty, I mean, part of it, I kind of looking at Letty, I'm like, he's not aware of what's going on either, because his partner's going for a change. He doesn't know it. And there's tons of ice there, just open. So Austin Lynch says, update on the White Castle last week. It took 3 hours to get to me, and it was ice cold. 3 hours?
Dude, he texted us he asked at 11:45, what should I get? And we told him White Castle, and he ordered it pretty much
2
right
in the morning
away.
it shows up?
So he must have gotten it at like 2 in the morning, 2 or 3. Oh my God. I would refuse that. I'd be like, no.
How is that even? And it was ice cold. He ate it?
I guess you put him in the microwave at that point, right?
I guess. I'd make a phone call. I would say, however many.
Oh, I'd
however
be
many,
a total Karen.
However many sliders I got, I want triple. I want the ones I paid for. I didn't get in a timely manner, and I want extra for my trouble, and I want extra because just because.
Yeah.
And there were big grains of salt. Big grains of salt on the margarita.
Second period, Carson Soucy scores for Seattle exactly halfway through the second period on what was a bad break and excellent execution by Seattle after the bad break. Soucy made a nifty play to score a nice goal. A point shot blocked by O'Reilly, deflected and going wide of the goal, but Soucy was crashing the net and was able to reach out and kind of chip redirect with one hand on his stick into an open side of the net that was open because Grice had went down to block the initial stop the initial shot that was blocked, deflected by O'Reilly.
And he was screened. Right?
And
he's reacting to the initial shot, doesn't pick up because I forget who it was that was between him and Soucy, but yeah, he's totally committed to cutting across. No chance to react to that.
I'm not even sure he has time to react if he's not screened, because it happened so fast. And there was no grab the puck and dust off, and grab the puck, corral it, bring it back, and dust it off and wrist it. It was a reach out chip redirect. It was a fantastic play, but they couldn't have passed the puck any better. If that puck had been passed to him, to Soucy, they couldn't have passed it to him any better than that redirect that went right to him. And that goal happened because he was crashing the net. He shot was coming, he crashed the net, and he was in perfect position to take that puck and put it in.
I'll admit, I was furious at first on this goal because I thought it was Jaden Schwartz that scored it. And I'm like, you're letting Mr. Injury score a goal against you. Guy breaks his shoulder by reaching for another beer, and you're gonna let him score. But then when I saw it was Soucy, I'm like, I'm not gonna be too upset.
Daniel Sprong made it 3-0 Seattle with 3 minutes to go in the second. And to me, I don't think it's to me. I think this is just how it is. This is where the Blues lost the game. The last 3 minutes of the second period, they allowed 2 goals. Sprong made it 3-0. Cherry picking at the blue line, the far end, right? Morgan Geekie whips a pass out of their zone to him at the other
Best
blue
name
line.
in hockey, by the way.
Best name, Morgan Geekie.
Oh yeah.
There are a number of players on Seattle's team that was like, Jesus, there's some strange names out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
Awful defending. Part 2 in this game for me. The awful coverage here. Blues defense. Maybe they thought Sprong was going for a change as he curled toward the Seattle bench. Maybe there wasn't a Blues player within 25 feet of him. The closest Blues players are pretty much all at the blue line, the attacking blue line, for some reason. And Sprong is hanging out at the opposing blue line. It's like a roller hockey cherry pick. It was awful. And no one sees him. I don't know what they were looking at or what they weren't looking at. Nobody cared to cover him. And perfect pass from the near boards up the middle and breakaway, and then Grice can't make the save. So and the one that just killed the Blues, Jared McCann scores with less than a minute to go in the second. Bushnevich whiffs on a simple pass at center, turns the puck over. McCann skates into the zone, takes a shot, blocked by Parayko. Puck comes back to McCann, who glides into the corner and headed toward the back of the net. Grice is off his post, came out a little too far, maybe couldn't get back in time. McCann, as he's kind of gliding behind the net, banks it off of Grice's skate as he's trying to get back against the post. So smart play by McCann. I've done this. I've tried this a lot. It works sometimes. You bank off the back of the goalie if they're off the post, and that's exactly what happened. But to me, I mean, Grice overplays this initially, and then is out of the goal, out of position. Can't get back to the post in time. And also on this play, I thought Parayko, this is the way he plays these situations, though. I think he plays them too soft. He's just got his stick out, just kind of gliding with the guy, just trying to get his stick in the way of a pass. He's not trying to actually engage the player. He's just letting the guy go, curl to the corner, curl behind the net, and he's just gliding with him, not really engaging him. And I'm thinking,
that's
attack the player.
Kurt, if you want to go to Colton Parayko defense school, that is what you learn. The way to do it is to just skate with them and don't let them get a pass across. And you know what? If they do, it's okay. Things happen.
Like
that's
goals.
the Colton Parayko school.
If you watch the replay and watch Parayko on that play, he's just like, he kind of glides with him just too long. I'm like, try and engage him. He's just trying to block a pass. And
put your body
I guess in Parayko's defense, he's behind the red line, so you have to assume he's going to pass to somebody. But still, tie him up, take him out, engage him physically, something. Didn't happen.
And to me, just putting your body on him and just because we know he's not a physical guy, lean your shoulder just into him as he's skating around the net. Put your body on, make it hard for him to come across that net and to whip it back in front. And there was none of that. It's, I'm going to block a pass. Well, guess what? How many times have we seen pucks go off defenders, go off the goalie, take a weird bounce, like maybe there's a divot in the ice, and it takes a weird bounce off that? That's not the way to defend. You have to at least make it difficult for that player to make a play there, and he didn't do that at all.
Bill, what's your take on Grice in this play? It's a bad goal, but what he just came out too far on the initial shot, or what?
Yeah, since that terrible game he played against Nashville earlier this year, I've tried to pay attention to where he is with respect to being around the posts, and clearly overcommitted off the post on this one. I thought earlier in the game he just didn't look. He did look a little bit slow in those areas, but yeah, he positionally. I think if I'm Seattle, it's definitely worth taking the shot there because of what you're seeing. Right. He's a big guy. Isn't historically isn't great side to side, and probably not the sharpest that he's been. So yeah, it's a goal that no goalie should ever be like, man, it wasn't my fault. that goal sucks.
I think, yeah. This is always, it kind of sucks maybe to on one hand, because no matter what happened leading up to this point where they actually score, that goal turns into it's on the goalie because of how it went in. It doesn't matter if there were a few misplays in front of you. That's it. And it kind of sucks for a goalie, I guess, because the players in front of you can make a lot of mistakes, but if you allow that kind of a goal, that goal is instantly,
it's all about you at that point.
It's all about the goalie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's like I said, at that point when I saw that puck go in the net, I'm like, all right, I get to go to bed now, because there was no coming back from that. Right. If I would have woke up this morning and they would have had, a comeback for the ages, I would I would have felt bad for about half a second, but no.
Yeah, we can do that, Jeff. We are due for a break before we get to the third period. We'll talk about the third period, and then we'll get into Jordan Kyrou and the title of the show, as far as him possibly being a 100-point player in the future. We'll talk about that on the other side of this break from Mike Burgoyne with strikewithmike.com.
A magical 2019 playoff run, I was in the midst of buying my current home. Every time I spoke with my realtor, obviously, home buying was the discussion. But in the back of my mind, I couldn't stop thinking about what was destined to happen for our St. Louis hockey team. If only there were a realtor who could have walked me through the process, held my hand when needed, but was there to be a sounding board when I wanted to complain about a certain hand pass goal. Let realtor Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage be that for you. He'll have your needs top of mind as he skates you through the home buying or selling process, dangling you past any obstacles and assisting on all your home goals. Check out strikewithmike.com for more information or give him a call directly at 314-753-4060. That's Mike Burgoyne with Real Brokerage at strikewithmike.com, and that number again is 314-753-4060. Don't forget to tell Mike that Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. You know, it's funny that Mike Burgoyne's commercial plays right after we talk about a weak defensive play by Colton Parayko. And I'm not saying this because I know he's listening. Mike is one of the fiercest defenders I have ever played with in men's league. Like, it's been years since I played with him, 5, 6, 7 years probably. But, I mean, he didn't care that it was men's league and we were all there, you know, just to get some exercise and have a couple beers afterwards. That dude, he would push on guys if they came across the net like that. No, thank you. You are not coming in front of my net. I am going to make sure if you're going to try and do a wraparound, you're going to end up on your ass. So always love playing with Mike. Again, strikewithmike.com if you're looking to buy or sell a new home.
They say that this time of year is, I guess, harder to sell a house. So I would imagine, I mean, this time of year if you're looking to buy a house, you could probably get a decent rate on a house, right? If it's harder to sell a house in the winter. So if you're looking to buy a house, I mean, now's a good time.
Yeah. Probably not the right terminology, rate on the house, because the rates are, you know, that's out of the market. But
yeah.
But
as far as like
the price of the house, right,
the price of the house, and as far as like negotiating goes, you know, there's probably not a ton of interest. So people who have their houses for sale, you know, they're kind of, you know, they may have to kind of bargain a little bit to get their house sold this time of year. Maybe, I don't know. So I don't know.
I'll tell you, if Mike is as good, and I've not used him, but if Mike's is as good of a real estate agent as he was a hockey player, he's a guy you can rely on to fight for what you need. He's one of those guys, and I'm, again, not saying this because he's an advertiser for the show. He's also one of those guys that would always step up if somebody was getting messed with. I remember one time we had a racist comment said to one of our teammates. He stepped in right away, told the guy what it was, and beat the shit out of him. Just that type of guy that you want in your corner. So I can imagine, again, if he takes that fierce competitor attitude that he has on the rink, if he takes that into realty, look out. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. You know, and you know, just to finish the point on real estate right now, it's still going. Real estate's still happening. So if you need something, definitely talk to Mike. I've had 2 people in my family on, you know, different sides. One sold, one bought. It's still happening. And in St. Louis as well. So the market is not gummed up. Don't believe it.
Kurt just asked me, so our sponsor beats the shit out of people. Yes. Mike is, again, man, one of the toughest guys I've ever played with. I would never mess with the guy. But it's that hockey player mentality too. Like, you get off the rink and he's the first one to buy you a beer. Just the nicest dude off the rink, but a fierce competitor on the rink.
The third period in this game, the Blues tried to make a game of it in the third period. They They showed some urgency. Got goals from Pareko at 5:59 into the third on his own entry. Nobody picks up Pareko on the far side. It's nice to see someone else's defense and missing an assignment. Logan Brown slides him a nice pass, has a lane to the net, and picks Jones' blocker side to get the Blues on the board. Bushnevich then scores a goal about 9 minutes to go in the game. That was a typical Martins Jones goal to give up. Beat him glove side on a shot that seemed stoppable, where he should have maybe seen it. But it's in that chicken wing area of a goalie where it's like it's above the glove, but it's not. So I don't know. Maybe it's tougher than it appears.
For Martin Jones, it is.
For Martin Jones, it is. And maybe he's expecting Bushnevich to pass Assad, who was wide open at the far post. So he didn't want to challenge the shooter too much to come out too much. And honestly, so it's 4-2 at this point, and the Blues had some chances. I know, Bill, you said you were in bed. The Blues had some chances. They hit a post. Tarasenko missed an open side from in close.
Yes.
Which you can't do. I mean, you need to at least get
it's
on
one
net.
thing. It's one thing if that's Nathan Walker.
Yeah.
When it's Tarasenko,
Right.
come on, you're a goal scorer, buddy. You got this.
I think it was Shen or Thomas had a wide open net and they missed. Way too many missed nets in this game from places on the ice where they shouldn't have been missing. And in the third, I thought the way they were buzzing and they were getting some chances, some of the best chances they had all game. If they had got that third one, if Tarasenko buries that chance like he probably should have, they've scored bang, 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 3 goals, and you had this feeling that they needed that one more just to have that.
Yep.
They're going to tie it. If they get one more, they're going to tie this game.
Tell me the feeling too wasn't if they don't give up that goal at the end of the second period. This is a game. This is a game the Blues come back and at least tie it, bring it to overtime.
It was weird because it was 3-0, right? Without that goal. And 3-0 going in the third should be a pretty secure lead. But, offense is up this year. Teams are coming back from multi-goal deficits in the third. So, I was frustrated at being down 4-0. And then in the third, you get a couple goals, and then I was frustrated that they blew some golden chances to get that third one, right? And then Berube pulls Grice for this attacker with 4:24 left on offense's own faceoff, and I think Luke Korak commented on Twitter kind of harshly criticizing Berube about he's like something on the effect of. It's amazing how this team just cannot get pulling the goalie right. They pull the goalie at the wrong times. Every time.
When you were segueing into that or leading into that, I was kind of like, wait, you're telling me the Blues gave up an empty net goal? No, I don't believe you. It is the most like that's probably the most predictable thing about this team, right? Pull the goalie, you're going to give up a goal.
It's not just that they give up a goal; they gave it up right away.
Well, and that is the Blues moniker, is to give up that. I mean, right within 15, 20 seconds of pulling your goalie, giving the goal up. The thing that annoyed me most about pulling the goalie here, it's not even that he pulled him at 4:24. It's that I thought they looked pretty good 5-on-5. Like,
well,
they're getting the pressure. They're getting give them another minute to do it 5-on-5 before you pull the goalie, because they're pressuring without that sixth attacker. So see what they can do, and maybe you get it within 1 goal. Then you bring the puck into the offensive zone and pull the goalie with 2.5, 3 minutes left.
I wouldn't have. I've said this before. Even you're down by 2 goals, you need to take some chances. I get it. Down by 2, but with that said, you don't have the puck. It's an offensive zone face-off, yes, but the face-off is essentially a coin flip on if you're going to win this draw, more or less, right? So it's a 50-50 shot, you're going to lose this draw, and they win the face-off, and they could shoot it down and score. With 4:24 left, that's not the gamble I want to take at that time. Now, if we have possession and we're pressuring, and there's 4 minutes left, I have less of a problem with it, but the fact that we didn't have the puck, that kind of pissed me off, and it burned us right away.
We are broken records on this show, Kurt, because that is what the three of us have said since Berube took over. You don't pull the goalie if you don't have possession. I get, and I think, Kurt, was it 2 weeks ago or so, you made a comment about, okay, a minute left, you're down by a goal, just get the puck in deep and then pull your goalie.
Yeah,
but like
or
in a situation,
carrying up.
Yeah, in a situation like this,
you've got time.
You got to get possession first and make sure the guys have the puck. Then, and to me, it's not even pull them right away. Oh, Blues won the faceoff, pull the goalie. To me, it's Blues have the puck, get possession. They're starting to work it around the zone. That's when you pull your goalie, bring him out, bring in that sixth attacker to be another guy to pass to. They don't do that at all. It's, offensive zone faceoff, pull goalie. And it's just, no, you have to have possession. You are giving them a free shot at the net if they get possession off the faceoff.
Right. And teams have to know at this point. And I think this is part of the problem I have with Berube's approach is he isn't factoring in how bad his team is with pulling the goalie. Right. That has to be a thing at this point. Right. The other team is like, all we got to do is win this draw. Just, dig in a little deeper. We'll get it. Right. And that's what happened. It does, I'm glad Lou called Berube out on this because it is getting tiring seeing it happen over and over. At some point, right? I mean, Berube is it every time the Blues pull the goalie, it really is nothing more than a coin flip by Berube because I mean he's got way too much blind faith that the Blues can somehow will themselves into possession. And they haven't shown that they can do that. So you have to be more strategic. You have to make sure you have possession before you do this.
I think the one
deep
thing
in the zone.
The one thing that Berube had in his pocket with this was that Seattle was the worst face-off team in the league, something like that. So he's playing that card too. He's thinking, okay, I got Thomas out there. He should win this draw. He should, but he didn't. So
don't you throw a Chari out there? Dude's 63%.
You probably should.
Was he?
Yeah. No, Thomas took the face-off.
Yeah, but I'm saying was Achari out there as well, in case he got thrown out.
Well,
no,
if Achari is 63%, he should have been taking the face-off initially.
He should be the guy that's taken, right? And
but and it's not like there's a minute and a half left where you need instant offense really quick. So I could see having Thomas out there as opposed to Achari, right? But you've got 4:24 left. You don't. It's almost a fourth of a period. You don't have to gamble with having Thomas out there because you need him. You can make that change. I don't know. Everyone's pissed off about it, and it seems fairly simple to me, but it just keeps happening. Not that they would have won the game anyway. They were down by 2, right? It would have taken a fantastic comeback.
I mean, you're completely taking away the chance of them making that comeback when you make that play. I mean, I think we all said, I know I did, when they made the comment on the broadcast that Grice has left the net. Blues have 6 attackers for this face-off in the offensive zone. My thought was, well, we're about to see a Seattle goal in the next 10 seconds.
I tweeted.
That's exactly what happened.
When they pulled him, I tweeted out, they pulled him too soon. That's all I said. And then the face-offs lost. 8 seconds later they score or whatever it was. So,
right. I didn't have a chance to even go back and watch the condensed game, but I can see this goal in my head. Right. Just the fact that you said the Blues pulled the goalie with more than 4 minutes to go in a 2-goal game. I just
without possession of the puck.
Right, without possession of the puck. I see the puck in the net. Right.
Well, and the way they lost it too. So they lost the draw, and Dunn ends up from his knees, tries to clear it. It wasn't a great clear. It was right at Krug at the blue line. Krug grabs it, drops it down to the ice, and then who scored? Tanev. Tanev kind of attacks Krug before Krug can play the puck. He drops it before Krug can play it. Tanev like checks him, attacks the puck, and chips it by him, and there's no one coming. And
I read that it was because Krug got scared when Tanev came up to him because he made this face at him.
do you see Tanev on the break? He skates in real slow. Tanev skates in real slow and looks behind him. And not the Blues broadcast crew, but I guess this game was broadcast on
AFN,
TNT,
wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah,
Was it?
It was AFN for sure.
Well, the Blues, it was on Bally's too.
Yeah.
Well, AFN's the worldwide thing for the
American.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
American Forces Network.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had their highlights that they were playing on NHL.com. They had that their broadcast, and they said he was turning around looking for Schwartz to pass to Schwartz, so he could score on the Blues.
Schwartz was too busy holding his ankle because he had hurt it on the face-off.
He had a bad crossover.
Blue line.
No, just an annoying game. So Blues lose this one 5-2. Nothing more to say about it. Just a bad end of the game. I thought Grice was okay except for that one goal. But man, bad management at the end of the game as the Blues were starting to storm back a little bit. And like you're right, Kurt. Probably not going to win that game, but just bad puck management. I pulling the goalie at that point.
Bad puck management, a couple of bad defensive lapses, laziness on defense, which is unacceptable. Parayko loafing it to the bench, and I know that players do it all the time, but when the other team has the puck and you're the last defenseman back, and you go for a change and you loaf, you can't loaf there. You can't and you got burned. So there's that.
Well, you're
the Blues
talking
missed a lot of chances wide.
You're talking to Coach Ponder, who will fucking yell at you for loafing it to the bench. Again, you're out there for 45 seconds. No, I don't bench him for that. Come on, Bill.
you bench everyone for everything.
I know, it's a joke. No, I just, again, like you're out there for a 45-second to minute 15 shift tops. And you're telling me you can't stride your legs a little bit harder to get to the bench. I feel like all NHL players should try a little harder to get to the bench. I think if that happens, I think we see a lot less too many men penalties in the NHL too. It's just, I think it's just math.
A lot of shots wide. A lot of chances the Blues had. They couldn't get on net. Good chances. It was a broken record last game. And that's happened far too much this season too with the offense at times. So, not as much recently because they've been much better, but this game, they lost tonight. They won 4 in a row. They lost tonight. And I've always said, you can lose a game like this. That's fine, but it's how you bounce back. It's how you play the next game. You don't want this one loss to turn into 2, 3, 4 in a row. You want to rebound with a win.
So talking about, the Binnington hate as we have the past couple weeks. I forgot to mention this at the Vancouver game we talked about. Did you see his little wave to the crowd after they won? Yeah. I loved it. Oh, I loved it. I'm like,
was it BK or Ferrario?
I'm like,
Brandon Kelly.
I didn't pay attention on social
I think Brandon
media,
Kiley had a tweet about that. Yeah. He showed the GIF. And I think I tweeted, I said, waiting for all of hockey Twitter to implode over this, over Binnington doing anything except make a save. Right.
I was waiting for like a Pete Blackburn or somebody to like retweet that and just be like, "Hey, hockey fans, what do you think of this?" And like just waiting to see fans lose their shit. And it's like, you can't say the thing that the Blues lost. Why is he being such a dick? He played a good game. And I would have loved to have seen the feedback from fans about that. Even Blues fans, the Blues fans who hate him for his antics. Let's see what you think about him after making a great game, only allowing 1 goal on a very nice move by Ilya Mikheyev, by the way.
Who's got his number?
Yeah, he does.
He had
He's
that.
a
He
solid
had that
player.
goal when he was with Toronto last year. He had that goal
Mhm.
that, I mean, it was a bad goal by Bennington, short side from the face-off dot, but guy
That was the
knows how to beat him.
7-6 game or 6-5
Yeah,
game, right? Yep,
yeah.
I was at that one. But yeah, I loved that. And
Me too.
again, seeing that, I was like, put him in tomorrow night. He's got the swagger. He's fucking winning games. Let's see him play.
And here's the
I don't know if he
here's the
makes
deal.
a huge difference in this game, but I don't
Here's
think
the
he gives
deal.
up that goal that Grice
Here-
did at the end of the second period.
Here's the deal with what he did to the crowd there. So and waving to the crowd. So we've talked on the show, and Bill brought up that very good point about how when goalies do create stir up some stuff on the ice, they can't really be retaliated against like other players can. So, but this was to the crowd. This wasn't to the other team. So if you see a player like a Ryan Reeves, okay, for example, kind of like mock wave the crowd like Bennington did, that's just Reeves being Reeves, right? He's just smart enough for the crowd. It's funny. It's great stuff. But if Bennington does it, I wanted to see somebody with 800,000 followers, right? Retweet that because that'd have been fantastic. Because yeah, that was to the crowd. That's not why can't he do that? What's wrong with that? That's just
Right.
that's just trash talking the crowd. What's wrong with that?
He's a dick.
And I love him for it.
He can be a dick, and he is off. I mean, that's a lot of hockey players are dicks.
We talked about it a little bit last week, Kurt. I love having a villain on this team.
Yeah,
Jordan Bennington's a villain.
It's
That's
fun.
why I want to see him in the net 82 games a year.
He's the definition.
I want him out there.
He's the definition of a guy that you love him when he's on your team and you hate him when he's not. And there's even some Blues fans that don't like his stuff either. So he rubs them the wrong way too, which and we've talked about a couple of things he's done on the show we didn't like either. So
yeah,
but for the most part, most of the stuff.
Kadri, that was one that pissed me off. But other than that, I mean, there's a couple maybe.
Do you know what people hate? They hate the water bottle. I love the fucking water bottle.
Oh, I love the water bottle.
Oh my god, I love
that.
And I love the callback to the JF Electric commercial.
Yes,
brilliant.
Yeah.
If he's chugging a grenade at Kadri, okay, he's an asshole. But it's a fucking empty water bottle. Even if that hits him, what does that do? It's nothing. Who cares?
I just love it. I mean, Bill, remember that time I threw a glove off the bench at a guy on a breakaway at yeah. I was on the bench, a guy had a breakaway. We had our goalie pulled, I think.
Oh, I heard.
And I chucked my glove at him.
Is what you did.
What?
You had Berube pull the goalie in an inopportune time.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how much time was left. Maybe, probably. But yeah, I threw my glove at him.
I'll admit, I actually thought of the two of you yesterday. I went to a stick and puck because I got some skates I'm trying out, and so I went to the stick and puck, and there's a couple kids there. I say kids, they were in high school, 16, 17. One kid was trying slap shots at the boards because there was like a couple guys shooting at the nets. So he's shooting at the boards. I'm sitting on the bench. I got my helmet off. I'm just sitting there like, drinking some water or whatever. And I look up and he's shooting at the far boards, which is no problem. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Next time I look up again, he's shooting right where I'm sitting, like slap shotting right where I'm sitting. And I'm thinking, oh, kid. And I put my helmet up and I literally just held it like this, like in front of my own head as I'm like sitting on the bench. Cause I'm like, this kid's going to fucking nail me like Kurt Price on Bill Day.
Right. Did you ask him?
I didn't take a slap shot though. It was a wrist shot.
Still.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, he was shooting them low, but I'm sitting there thinking, kid, you never know. Even NHL players will every now and then get a hold of one they don't expect to get a hold of and just sail it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're 15, 16 years old. You know better. What are you doing?
I was older than that. I didn't know better. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a break. Let's hear from Sunrise Brewery. After that, we'll talk about the Jordan Kyrou 100-point player talk. Do you like hockey? Of course you do. Do you like beer? Of course you do. Are you 21? Let's hope so. If you answered yes to all of those questions, run on down to your local beer distributor and pick up a 2-4 of Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, or any other delicious hockey-themed beer from Center Ice Brewery. That's right, Center Ice Brewery beer is available at various beer stores around town, so check around for the one closest to you. That's Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. What happened to Ponder? Now we have lights going.
It's right now we've got the lights right through our faces.
I need to like share a screen or something. What is he doing? Get your ass back in there, Ponder. Turn yourself off.
Go.
There you go. Nothing wrong with showing an empty chair.
He's setting off a smoke detector in an airplane lavatory.
There's nothing wrong with showing the empty chair there on screen. Will Jordan Kyrou be a 100-point player? He was actually asked about this in an interview about whether or not he could get to 100 points. He has 109 points in his last 106 games. It's a big jump to go from being a point-a-game player to a 100-point player. Last 5 years, we got in 17-18. In 2017-2018, there were 3 100-point guys. The next year, there were 6. The next year, there was 1. The year after that, there was 1. And last year, there was 8. And this year, there are like 15 guys on pace to flirt with 100 points. Yeah. So, and Kyrou is currently 39th in scoring in the NHL with 32 points in 31 games, which is great. You know, point-a-game guys, they're fantastic. But with that said, you know, and when Kyrou was asked about it, he said, "Yeah, I can be a 100-point guy. That's what I'm gonna do." And that was interesting to me because he didn't like say, "Well, you know, hopefully, the players around me can help me out or whatever. I can maybe get lucky." And he didn't. He wasn't real modest about it. He was like, "Yeah. I think I can."
And
so
talking about our conversation last week about wanting with Bennington, wanting to see guys be honest and like show some personality, show some character. That's what I love about this. I love seeing that. Again, big naysayer in the past about Kyrou. Show me, kid. You think you can score 100 points in the NHL? I want nothing more. Let's see you do it, kid. And I love seeing you say you think you can.
You think you will?
I think you will. Yeah,
eventually.
I don't know about this year. You talking about this year?
This year's be tough, but I mean, you're going to tear.
I think he can. I think he can be a 100-point scorer in the NHL. Yes, he has the talent.
Do you think he will?
Yes, okay. I think he will. I think he's going to figure it out. I think there's still some quirks in his game that he needs to work out, like just not having the full 82 game mindset of I need to give it all the time. I think he's going to get there. Not this year. He started the year off a little rough, but next year after that, I don't know. I think he could easily be a 100-point scorer.
It was a yes or no question.
Yes.
So yes, but I want my 5 minutes of time now.
Go right ahead. I'll give you equal time. Yeah, sure.
I demand equal time, Senator.
Yeah, Senator, your time is up. Your time is up.
No, I totally think he will be, but I think it's more of a function of the way the league's trending, right? You read the stats, right? A couple of years ago, there was 1 guy, and this year we're on pace for 15 guys. It's the league is trending, right? The league is trending in the direction of more open offense during the regular season. And he's, I kind of think is a little bit different than Jeff here, right? When he becomes a more rounded player, the offensive stats are going to fall off. I think his 100-point year is going to happen this year or next year when he still doesn't give that much fuck about playing defense, right? If he can get away with it, if he can keep popping goals, right? And he has been the catalyst. He was really the catalyst of the Blues 4-game win streak, this most recent win streak. And I think you need that, right? You can't rely on him at this point in his career to be a solid defensive player. And I think when you get to that point where he's figured that part of his game out, the offense is going to drop off. But that's just I think that's kind of how players mature now. Except the elite superstars. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's a Nathan McKinnon. He's got McKinnon's speed, but he doesn't have the same drive, right? To the same hunger, the same every, scream at your teammates if they're not eating kale shakes every day, right? He doesn't have that in him, right? But he does have that desire to want to be the scorer. And I think, especially, if he does have a concussion, it's going to miss some time now. That's going to hurt this team's chances quite a bit. But, if this team is, if he and the team are healthy, I think this year or next year he could challenge for it.
I see your point, Bill, but I will add.
Hold on, I gotta
real quick.
here.
Hang on. You asked the question.
Christ.
You asked the question of Bill and I.
Bill answered. I want to answer.
Let me just say one.
Go ahead. God
I will
damn
just
it.
say one very quick thing about what he said. I just want to add. I don't actually think might be the issue with him of becoming a more well-rounded player to where he's not going to, in a couple of years, he's not going to get 100 points. He's got to do it now or next season. I think the issue falls in that right now the Blues offense is so prolific that he's not the only guy other teams need to worry about. There's plenty of other guys on this roster that they need to be considering. In a couple of years, O'Reilly will be gone. Tarasenko will be gone. Barbashev will be gone. Perron's already gone. I could see in a couple of years the problem being Kyrou's the only gun this team has. So he will have to find a way to score 100 points in a year more than he does now, because him and Thomas might be the only real guys that could maybe put up 100 points on this team. Sorry, Kurt. Now it's your turn.
See, I was going to kind of say something like that. You kind of stole it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I mow your lawn?
A little bit. But I will say this, though. I think
they're no longer our sponsor. Stop it.
He will get there. Kyrou will get there. And I think, you lose some guys. Yeah, you're going to lose O'Reilly. Probably both O'Reilly and Tarasenko next season.
Right.
They will be replaced.
Already a Toronto Maple Leaf?
If you read the internet, that's what they'll tell you.
They will be replaced. There's turnover, whatever. I actually think that Kyrou and Thomas will be 100-point guys in the same season. And I actually think Thomas is more likely to get 100 points than Kyrou. But it would be great to see them both get it in the same season. I have a trivia question for you. When is the last time the Blues had two players with 100 points in the same season?
1990.
Luke Logley.
1990, what players?
Adam Oates and Brett Hall.
No.
So repeat that question one more time.
The last time the Blues had two 100-point scorers in the same season.
92, 93, Brett Hull, Brendan Shanahan.
Oh, you got the right year, but the wrong players. 92, 93.
Brett Hall and Craig Janney?
Brett Hull and Craig Janney. Shanahan had 94 points that year.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they darn near had three 100-point guys on the same team. And that's the team that upset the Hawks in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, they were the 8th seed that year. Whew.
Yeah, and they were not a well-rounded team.
No.
They had Curtis Joseph in net, and they were top-heavy with the offense, but it worked. So they got a red-hot Curtis Joseph in the first round. So, and they had some scorers who could beat Belfour. I know Shanahan and Hall kind of lit him up. So, and Janney. Janney had 106 points. Hall had 101.
That was that not the season that Craig Janney got the breakaway on Belfour and the total head fake and forehand, backhand, head fake, and Belfour was basically, lost his jockstrap.
I don't recall.
You are asking me to remember way too much here, Bill.
But average points for those players was 100. So their top 3 scorers did average 100 points. So there's that. Buchnevich is the 6th fastest to reach 100 points with the Blues, and the 5-2 loss versus Seattle. Buchnevich's third period goal gave him 100 points with the Blues. He did that in 97 games played with St. Louis. 6th fastest Blue to do so. 8th overall to do it in 100 games with St. Louis. Only Craig Janney, Adam Oates, Joe Mullen, Pierre Turgeon, and Brett Hull recorded 100 points faster while wearing the blue note. Janney did it the fastest. That's amazing.
That's dude. Yeah, that's incredible.
75 games.
I hate what happened to him. I feel like he should have went on and had an unreal NHL career, but for obvious reasons, things got a little derailed for him.
Yeah.
But man, what an unbelievable career he had with the Blues. And I feel like that is like, I'll admit, I made a comment to a friend, a young friend who is a Blues fan, early 20s. And
was he a young Tito Landrum?
She was not.
No. Okay.
She did not know who Craig Janney was.
Oh,
and
man.
She knew who
Chris
Shanahan
Frank
was.
Like, what?
I know. She knew who Brendan Shanahan was, Adam Oates, Peter Zezel she knew.
Wow.
All these
Rossini.
names that she knew, and she didn't
Rossini,
know.
yeah.
And I'm thinking, why do we not hold Craig Janney up on a pedestal like we do with so many players? Maybe it's because he didn't have a strong career after he left the Blues.
Probably because he was an alleged wife beater and Shanahan beat the shit out of him and stole his wife.
Yeah. But I'm talking on ice here. He was a good fucking hockey player.
He was.
No, right.
A good passer.
Right. He was probably the best option the Blues could have gotten at the time, that, outside of Wayne Gretzky, in terms of setup men in the NHL when they had to trade Adam Oates. Right.
Who was the defenseman that came with him in the trade? It was Janney and
oh
crap. He wore the Cooper helmet.
Was it Stefan Quintal?
Quintal, yes.
Yeah.
It was Quintal. Good job.
Man,
drive me bonkers.
Number 4?
5.
Right? 5.
Quintal wore 5. Zombo wore 4 during those.
Zombo was 4. Yeah,
that's right.
For the record, for the New York Rangers, Buchnevich had 195 points in 301 games. So as good as he was for New York offensively, he's been much better in St. Louis.
And again, we talked about Kyrou, his ability to put up points now because this offense is so prolific. In 2 years, who knows what this offense will look like? Buchnevich is clearly going to be a part of that in the future, which is great. But he's already benefited from an excellent offense. He put up 70 points last year, 72 points. What was it for Buchnevich? I can't remember. But still, I mean, putting up impressive numbers for the Blues.
He put up 76 last season.
Yeah.
The thing with Kyrou, though, Kyrou's the kind of guy, too, that doesn't necessarily need a supporting cast. He does have the legs. He does have the desire to be a one-man show at times, to stick handle around people and try and, make the extra move. So there's that. I know what you're saying, that it is much easier for other teams, for him to, have more space out there when you have a deeper offensive team that the other team can't necessarily focus on you all the time. But then again, if you're a 100-point player, you're drawing the team's best defense anyway.
Oh,
right?
yeah, you are.
So,
yeah, I mean, look at Ovechkin. We all hockey fans make jokes about Ovechkin on that power play.
He scores from the same spot every time.
Just stop
You can't
that
stop him.
shot from the left circle. That's all you have to do.
You just can't. It just comes in so hard.
You just can't. You just can't stop him because that Capitals power play, they know how to move the puck around and get him open to where it draws the defender off of him. And it's the same thing with Kyrou. Like, if Kyrou can figure out being the number one guy on the Blues roster, which maybe he already is now for other teams, I don't know. But if he can figure it out and still get himself open and get himself available for opportunities, again, we've talked about Brett Hall a ton tonight, talking about Buchnevich and Kyrou. That's what Brett Hall did, right? The guy was so good at still finding that open space to get that one-time shot off. And it's like, you watch the games and as a fan, you're sitting there saying, just don't let that guy shoot. What are you doing? But
that's
if the team's good enough around him, he's going to find that time and find that space to make those plays.
Right. There was a great breakdown last week when Ovi hit when he got to 800. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Devin Dubnyk, who's now doing NHL Network duty. But great breakdown of how important TJ Oshie has been to the Capitals power play and letting Ovechkin always be open, right? They mastered that bump play early on. Like, it's taken teams a long time to figure out how effective the bump play is, where you put that extra right-handed shot up in the top of the slot, and then it just gives Ovi so much time on the left-hand side, and he's capitalized on it. And God, I'll tell you,
no pun intended.
No pun intended. Capitalize. I want to see Ovi get to Gretzky. Like, I think that would be an amazing statistic, right? We've lived our lives thinking nobody's gonna touch Gretzky, any of his offensive stats. If he gets that, holy shit.
How do you think Canadians feel about Ovechkin? I haven't really.
I've been paying attention. They want it. They think
Canadians
it's great.
Want a Russian to beat Gretzky's record.
I don't think anybody cares that he's Russian. For the most part. I mean, obviously, you've got your vocal minority of Putin. He's a Putin supporter.
I was going to say, even though he's a Putin supporter.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, everyone is rooting for him.
Me too. That's why I'm asking.
Right. The whole thing with Dominik Hasek, right? I get it. I get the politics of it. But to say you have to ban all Russian players from the NHL at this point, like, that's the wrong time to bring that up, Dom. You've got the guy who could possibly break Gretzky's record.
Imagine?
Right.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
That would be the worst fucking decision in the history of sports.
Yikes.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me a guy named Dom is wrong?
What?
That never happens in the NHL.
No.
Okay, so rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. We got one item here to talk about, and then we're going to shut her down.
What other option do we have?
Earl, none. I should have that tidbit before our last segment. After that, we're going to shut her down. Cale Makar declined a power play, talked the referee out of giving the Avalanche a power play, allegedly. Late in the first period, in a scoreless game versus the Islanders in Colorado, with an Islander chasing Makar, Makar blew a tire and fell in his own zone. There was a stick on his shoulder, on his arm, but it had nothing to do with him going down. Official's arm goes up, and there's a tripping call. Makar immediately goes over to the official and starts waving off with his hand, saying, no. And allegedly says something to the effect of, "That's not a penalty. I just lost my edge." The replay did indeed show Makar was not tripped, and that was a bad call. The official then goes to the mic and announces that there is no penalty on the play. What do you guys think about this? And would you like it if, say, Tarasenko were to say, no, we don't want a power play here. That was not a penalty.
It is such a weird position, right? Like, because as a hockey player, as a hockey fan, I applaud him, and I'm like, that is amazing, good for you. that's good sportsmanship. That's fantastic. But man, as a teammate,
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
Well,
dude, you got to take that. You have
Here's
to
the-
take the power play.
here's the thing with that too, is that this was in the first period, late in the first period, less than a minute to go in the first. No score. The game ended up going to overtime scoreless and went to a shootout scoreless, obviously. So, I mean, that one power play could have won them the game in regulation. Now, Colorado wins this game, in the shootout, so it doesn't really matter to them. They got the 2 points, unless you're counting regulation and overtime wins versus a shootout win. And if it matters for playoff standings, right?
Oh,
So that's one less
Can you
win for them.
imagine
Yeah.
if they
it
miss
comes
the
down to that?
playoffs because of a regulation or overtime win?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
But that's the
but the argument that I've seen that people actually like that actually makes sense to me as a because I made the teammate comment is basically there's a very good chance that the NHL officiating looks at this after the game, player safety, and says he dove. So we got to give him a fine. And yes, it's only a fine, $250 or was it $2,500 maximum allowable under the CBA.
Say the line, Bart.
but-
Say the line. Maximum allowable under the CBA.
Maximum allowable.
No.
Yeah. Sorry. But maximum. It's the maximum they can do. But and people might say, well, McCarr's not a dirty player, so it's not a big deal. But it does still put him on the books as a repeat offender if something does happen. So I actually get.
I mean,
but
well,
no. What I'm saying is after the game, is player safety could look at that and say he dove, so we're going to fine him. You don't have to have a diving penalty for that to be called. So
I don't think they would call
actually
it as a dive, though. I mean, I'm just by looking at it, I don't think they would. Not this play.
I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows.
Well, I mean, the stick was up on his shoulder. I mean, it's not up on his arm. Wasn't even
But I'm
a hook.
just saying, that's
I
the
know.
one
Okay.
argument I've seen that kind of makes sense to me. But I mean, overall, I respect him for it. I actually gained some respect for him saying, "Hey, no, that was me. That was me."
I don't think he cares about $2,500 or being on the books at all. I don't think that matters to him whatsoever. Because he's not that kind of player.
Especially, you don't think he cares about
right,
that?
Exactly. I mean, you can't. You're not thinking that quick. Especially, that's a good point. But when I first saw it, I thought that, speaking of diving, I thought that he thought that when he saw the arm go up, that he was getting called for diving, because in his mind he knew that there was no penalty there, but he went down. So I bet you I was thinking that maybe he thought, no, I didn't dive. You know what I mean? I thought he was saying I didn't dive, and
maybe.
But I don't know why they came to the mic and said there's no penalty on the play if they were calling him for they weren't calling him for diving.
I don't remember. Did they blow the whistle when it happened, or did they wait until the Islanders touched the puck?
I don't remember. I know that McCarr got up right away and started waving to the official, and the play seemed to be over pretty quickly. I can't remember when it was though. Good point. Good question.
Maybe.
But either way, as a teammate, I would have hated this. As a fan, I would have hated this. You know
what? As a fan, as a Blues fan, you mentioned if Tarasenko did this. As a Blues fan,
I would hate it.
I know it sounds crazy, but I would actually be like, "Oh man, that's actually really awesome of him to do that," and I have no problem with it.
You know what?
But again, I come in as a teammate, that would be like,
to me,
we could have used that power play there, Kale.
To me, a teammate's fan. It's the same. It's apples and oranges.
No, it's a much different mindset.
No, I don't think so. I think both fans. Sometimes fans seem to want to win more than the players. But anyway, okay. So with that aside, I lost my train of thought. God damn it! Fuck. Shit.
So,
why don't you think about it and let Bill? Let's let Bill comment here because we talk.
I was just going to say, I think there is zero chance in hell he does that if it's Colorado versus St. Louis. Right? It's a divisional game, and you're going up against a historically bad penalty kill. You're going to be like, sure, yep, I tripped. I was tripped. I was hauled down.
Okay. So I remember what I was going to say. So bad calls for both teams happen. The other team is not going to do you a solid by saying no, that wasn't a penalty. We don't want the power play. Not going to happen. So I think if you and over time they kind of tend to even out, so you kind of just roll with it. I don't think turning away a power play is the right move because it's going to go the other way too. I mean, you're going to get a power play. You're going to get the other team's going to get a power play against you. So I don't know. I think bad calls happen, and it's just accepted. And over time, they kind of even out in the long run. So I think declining any power play that you might get is just, I don't see how it helps your team at all. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got, boys. The comments here. What if a goalie? Ken Morris. Let's put it up there. Haven't read it yet. Let's see what he has to say. Ken Morris. What if a goalie said on a goal that the puck crossed the goal line and got past him, and the referee didn't see it?
I'm just gonna say, Ken, I know it's a what if question, but that will never happen, right, Bill? Goalies will always say, "Oh no, it was in my pads."
Again, Jeff does not understand hypothetical questions.
Oh,
he refuses to answer them.
No, we are not.
It's a hypothetical.
There. It's not a.
So it is. That's a hypothetical.
If 3 plus 3 is 6, but the answer can't be 6. What do you think the answer is? That's what you were asking me last week.
No, that is not what I was asking you.
Yes,
no,
it was.
So, no, it's not. That's not.
Bill, answer the question.
You changed the question. So, what if a goalie? Would a goalie ever do that, Bill? No.
Say it's Ovi giving the chance for Ovi to overtake Gretzky. I think there's a lot of pressure there, one way or another. And, right?
That's a tough one.
That's the ethical conundrum I want to think about. Right?
The goalie doesn't want to be the goalie that gives that goal up, though, right?
You think?
Like
Steve Traxel.
It's the same with Steve. That's what I was gonna say. Steve Traxel.
Remember, the pitcher that gave up Mark McGuire's 60th or 61.
62.
Sorry. Jesus. 62, right.
I was in Johnny Mac's purchasing a pair of Coho rollerblades the second that Mark McGuire hit his 60-second home run off of Steve Traxel.
His shortest home run of the season.
You literally just dated yourself twice in one sentence.
Yes.
Johnny Mac's and Coho skates.
Yes.
Now Johnny Mac's has been around. This was one of the business. It wasn't that long ago, right?
But this was before Johnny Mac's had a Fairview Heights location. This was Johnny Mac's Crestwood.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You totally just dated yourself because that's the original.
Lindsay Middlebrook, general manager.
Okay. Yes. Oh my God, Bill, stop it! You're getting older and older by the comments.
I was so excited. I was so excited when Johnny Mac's opened in. It was technically Swansea, I think. When it was
it's technically Swansea.
Yeah. That was great because it wasn't that far from my house. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Right, and it wasn't that far from Oak Hill or US Ice before it broke in half.
US Ice and Way to Play or wherever we're playing. Yeah, that's and that was exciting. And they closed a few years before COVID, probably something like that.
Yeah. Johnny Mac's went out of business, I think,
5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago.
It's been a while.
Bummer.
Merry Christmas, fellas.
Yeah.
I know we were originally supposed to get together tonight and do a show live together, but Bill had to go and get COVID like an asshole.
I know.
So that didn't happen. But I'm hoping the Blues don't play next Wednesday, right? I'm hoping we can make that happen because I got some pretty awesome things to give you guys.
They do not play next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm hoping not to get COVID again between now and then. But that today, last night was the first day based on I don't know if you guys know, the CDC has a calculator for when can you safely return to public life.
Yes. Yes.
And last night was my night, and so
Okay.
it could have worked today, except that work and this impending storm got in the way. So
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say the biggest problem I think is the impending storm. We've got, for those that don't know, Ken Morris, maybe you're not aware, the entire Midwest is supposed to get plummeted the next 2 days with some snow, crazy cold.
Even some in the
So-
Middle East.
yeah,
The Mid
I
East.
hear it's going to go
Mid-East.
through. I think it's going to go through Columbus as well.
Yeah.
So
Even the Mid North.
Mid-
Even the
yeah.
Mid North.
That still makes me
The
laugh.
Mid East.
The Mid East. But no, gentlemen, I know I have some awesome Christmas Eve and Christmas plans. Merry Christmas to obviously both of you guys, but Austin, Ken, I want to call some listeners out here by names: Meeker, Chris Bray. You guys that comment during the show, we love having fun with you guys. It's always Matt Harris, another one. So Merry Christmas to you
Roberts
guys.
must
Happy holidays.
really-
Brian Roberts, who got banned earlier.
Yeah.
in
Brian
the
Roberts,
show.
who got banned. Yes.
Stop porn spamming us, Brian. But
Yeah. Damn it, Brian.
I guess it must have worked out well with Matt and the girlfriend tonight, because he didn't comment a whole lot during the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
So he's having a night out with the boys.
with boys, not with the boys, with boys.
Or
Boys.
maybe the boys. Maybe he's a it's a group thing. I don't know.
Hot. That is what the youth likes to do now, right? They're
youth.
going on group dates.
The Utes. Yeah.
The youths, yeah, they like the group dates. Yeah, we'll be back for the show next week, and we'll be together, and I'll give you guys the awesome presents that I got you guys. Looking forward to that.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how awesome these presents are.
You're gonna like them. I don't like to hype up gift giving because I always feel like I'm leaving people like to expect way more than what they're getting. But I'm 100% honest here. These gifts I got you guys, they're the best. They're the best.
For someone who doesn't
wait.
hype up gifts too much, you're certainly
Yeah.
doing a lot of
I'm
that.
telling you, they're great. I love
I
them.
cannot wait to open my Mike Lee replica mask. I am so looking
Ooh,
forward to it.
sweet.
Bill, if I could afford to get you that, I would totally get you that. But I'm telling you right now, that's not what it is.
Ah, damn it.
He made one on a paper mache.
Hey,
Yes.
that's better than I could do.
Ken Morris said the storm that we're going to experience is actually supposed to hit Ontario as well. It is. Yeah. Well, we are kind of. I mean, the United States and Canada are brothers. Canada is the United States' hat, so we're right there.
I
Mhm.
knew that was coming.
Yep. Austin Lynch says, "Happy holidays, everyone." Ponder, I can't wait to beat you in 23 soon. Yeah, I will be getting 23 on Christmas Day. So by the 26th, I will be fully prepped to kick your ass, Austin. So I look forward to it.
Why don't you guys live stream this?
Twitch it.
That's not a bad idea,
Twitch it.
actually. Austin, can you? I haven't figured out, and maybe since I'm on Christmas
Jeff's too
break, maybe I
old.
can figure that out. Yeah, I'm too old to figure out how to stream my shit to Twitch. So if you can do it, that would be awesome.
what?
I'd love to stream our shit.
Anything outside of
No, Bill, no.
Twitch and TikTok are a little out of your our league.
I'm on TikTok, but I'm too afraid to post anything.
I have an account on TikTok, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
me too. Yeah,
I want. Yeah, that's.
I've got an idea for like a series to post, like videos to post, but I'm like, every time I think like, oh, I could do that now, I'm like, I'm afraid. Like, I don't want to post on TikTok.
Ken Morris says Canada is the 51st state unofficially. I'm not sure if Canada wants to be a state.
Right. No, it is
Texas
America's
doesn't even wanna
largest
be a state.
national park.
No. Yeah, right. You could take Texas's place. Texas just, you know.
Texas wants to leave us, which I don't
Well,
blame them.
Well, I
don't blame them because of their beliefs, is what I'm saying.
Well, you're not surprised.
Right.
I think if I don't think they know what they're asking for. The people they're asking for that. It's like the southern half of Illinois that wants to separate and become its own state because of Chicago. They don't understand that there would be, where is Southern Illinois going to get its money from? There's
Yep.
nothing to generate money in Southern Illinois. Chicago supports the entire state. So,
Yep.
all right. Is Bill frozen?
No,
Oh man, you're just
we're
like
just
reading.
We're
Right,
just
I was,
listening
I
to
was
you.
intently reading some
Okay.
Twitter stuff.
All right. I'll wrap up. Yeah, back at you, Jeff. Merry Christmas. Have a good one. Safe one, everyone. Stay safe in the storm. I hope everyone has their milk and bread.
It's
I
Scott
went to-
Connell tweeted tonight. It's not a French toast storm. It's and I saw somebody else said it's more
French
of a
toast
liquor store storm. So
Okay.
Oh,
I think
like
it's just the
those
cold.
storms.
You know what's funny about it is it's not the snow amount. It's not going to get a lot of snow, but 1 to 5 last I heard. But it's just the cold, and the cold is
Right.
like 1.5 days, 2 days.
right.
Tops.
The
not a big
coldest
deal.
it's been in 30 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
And I'm hoping that it stays cold enough and stays under 32 so we can do some
Wait.
pond hockey.
Oh hell yes.
How-
It's not though, because next week it's going to be 50 degrees.
Yep.
How cold is it supposed to get?
0.
It's supposed to be
It's supposed
Friday.
to
It's
be
supposed to be like
before
0.
wind chill. It is supposed to hit -2 Saturday morning.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think
because it wasn't
Saturday
that long
it's supposed-
ago.
-2 Fahrenheit.
It wasn't that long ago that
Yeah.
we had -8, -9 overnight. This was probably what 12 years ago, something like that.
The only issue that I ever have,
No.
as weird as this sounds, is that my garage door freezes.
Mm.
So like I can't get it to open or close except if I do it manually. So I gotta like pull on the emergency lever. I can't talk. Manually pull on the emergency lever that hangs from the top and open and close it. Like that's the only issue I have when it freezes that bad.
Yeah, this is our first year in the house, so that would really suck for me since I spent the half hour leading up to the show just like throwing shit to the other side of the garage so we could get one car into the garage before this hits. If I can't open that door tomorrow, man, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm supposed to go pick up my nephew at the airport, and I'm definitely not taking the car that's sitting in the driveway all day.
Tell Jake I said, hey.
If he gets in, I will.
Okay.
I will.
All right. He's still playing volleyball anywhere?
He was trying to, but I don't know. He works quite a bit nowadays. So
Okay. All right. That'll do it for this episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. And visit strikewithmike.com today for all of your home buying and selling needs. That's strikewithmike.com. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's tasty hockey-themed beer. Check out your local beer vendors for availability. That's Center Ice Brewery beer. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 13 of season 11 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. We still do have baloney in our slacks. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bo Dam, Kurt Price, until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Ranamani, totally insane-y. Let's go Bluesy.
Follow that, Bill.
Let's go Blues. Merry Christmas. Happy Festivus Friday, if you celebrate.
Very nice.
Yes.
Happy
Well,
holidays, everybody.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis